Hey Alexa, play Who Runs the World by Beyonce.
Run the World, Girls, by Beyonce, on Amazon Music.
Tap the screen. Let's get this thing up to 8,000 likes. But two, go ahead and get in the request box. Share the live out. Do all the wonderful things. Hey Alexa, stop. If you are someone who voted for Donald Trump and you think that Donald Trump is going to be good for women over these next 4 years, go ahead and request up. I would love to hear your perspective. If you are someone who didn't vote for Donald Trump and you're worried about what these next 4 years are going to look like, go ahead and request up. I need everybody in the box, guys. We got to get this thing up to 8,000 likes. We're almost at 4,000 likes. Tap, tap, tap the screen. Send your daily heart me. Hey, Jay, send your daily heart me if you have not done so. It's only 1 cent. Also, we have the daily live goal. It's the pink heart puffs. They're 1 coin. I set it as the pink heart puffs because I know we can knock those out quick. The more we actually knock out these daily live gift goals, the more it pushes us out to the FYP. And we want to get people in here. And as soon as we hit 8,000 likes, we will open up the panel. We will open up the panel as soon as we hit 8,000 likes. So I need you guys tapping the screen, sharing the live out, doing all the wonderful things. If you disagree with the background, if you don't think that Trump America hates women, request up. I would love to hear from you. Alina, how are you today?
I'm good.
There we go.
Sorry.
No worries.
Getting everything together. I'm doing good. Can't complain.
Wonderful. Alina, do you think we're going to get anybody that actually disagrees with the background today? Because I don't.
I hope so, but the ops were kind of MIA today, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also a factor that, they agree with it. Guys, we're going to go ahead and start opening up the panel. As we bring people in onto the panel, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself as we bring you in on the panel. And I will do an actual introduction, so please mute yourself as you get onto the panel. I'm going to go ahead and start bringing people in, and we're going to go ahead and get these conversations rolling. We have a couple of spots left, so if you are someone who disagrees with the background, if you think Donald Trump's America is going to be good for women, please request up. If you're someone who actually agrees, especially if you are a woman, I would love to hear your opinion. Please go ahead and request up. We got a couple of spots left on the panel, guys. Keep tapping the screen. We're at 11,000 likes. We need to go ahead and get this thing up to 25,000 likes. Share the live out. Let's do all the wonderful things so we can let the TikTok know that we are in the building, but we are also here for some amazing conversations. We're going to go ahead and get this started and go around the panel for some introductions. We're going to
There's only 54 shares.
Yeah, no.
You gotta get the shares way up.
Gotta get the shares up. Gotta do all the wonderful things, guys. Listen, if we want to get people in, and we want to have these conversations, we need you guys to be active participants. We need you guys tapping the screen, sharing the live, just doing all the great things. I am counting on you. Hey, W's in the chat for management. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we are gonna go ahead and around the panel. We're gonna go around the panel and start introductions. So I have a set of questions for everyone who's on the panel, and then we will start the conversation. So if you don't mind, answer the 3 questions for me, and then we will move forward. I'm going to start with Jay. Hey, Jay, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. Jay, what are your pronouns? What is
she, them.
Wait, listen to all the questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good. What are your pronouns? What are your expectations? I'm sorry. What is your proudest moment as a woman or for women? And what are your expectations for women over the next 3 years under the Trump administration?
Hi, Des. So my pronouns, she, they. Proudest moment as a woman? Probably watching my mom be a mom and setting her example for being a woman and watching her raise me. And then
expectations for women over the next 4 years under the Trump administration.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to go absolutely downhill.
Ooh, okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. We're going to switch it up. Mr. Who's Your Daddy? Mr. Who's Your Daddy, how are you this evening?
I'm well, thank you.
Wonderful. Mr. Who's Your Daddy, what are your pronouns? What is your proudest moment as a woman or for women? And what are your expectations for women over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
Okay, my pronoun, I go by he, him. Mm-hmm. Proudest moment for women? Mm-hmm. It doesn't register for me. I don't separate the genders like that. That's just the honest answer. Okay. And what do I expect for women? Even though it's not personal to me, I expect the women that are being represented in the Trump administration to have a positive effect. The first female chief of staff, Susie Wilds. Mm-hmm. You would have thought that would have been under a Democrat, but no.
That's wild that you can separate. You can answer that question, but not the first one. That's fascinating.
Why? I answered
that. You were able to say like that.
Right. There's nuance to that, and what I said was, even though it's not important to me, I said for you, where you should find pride in it.
But you
because
said
it's
you don't
important to you.
identify, like, you don't separate people, like, in categories.
I understand
like that, but
you
were
want to
able do it
refute
for
my
question
answer.
two.
I understand that you can't control yourself enough to let the panel introduce.
I'm the
That you have to
co-host, friend.
interject.
Okay,
I'm the
gonna have to
co-host,
mute you
friend.
for a second. That's what I was just about to say. We might be a little bit confused. Allow me to reintroduce the special guest.
Yeah,
host.
thank you.
And I apologize. I skipped over her because she was, getting
I was
set
getting a
up.
Red Bull.
Exactly. So, this is Alina. Alina is my special invited guest for this actual discussion. She's actually helping me lead this discussion. Hey, Alina, how are you again?
I'm great.
Wonderful, wonderful. Mr. Who's Your Daddy, we're going to come back to you. You know what? The one thing that I will make a comment on, though, and I said this to someone else, is, that, I mean, no matter if I like Trump or not, like that is a thing, right? But we will get into what you said, because I think that what you said is going to lead into more of a conversation, but we'll come back to you. Sarah, how are you?
I'm good, Santana. Hi, Alina.
Hi.
All right, Sarah, what are your pronouns? What is your most proudest moment as a woman or for women? And what are your expectations over the next 4 years for women?
My pronouns are she, her. My proudest moment as a woman is finding my voice on TikTok and finding a community that wants our voices heard. I think my expectations for women are very sad right now. I feel like women are going to be put back. I mean, all the hard work that we've done over the past few years, like, will take a step back instead of going forward these next 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that is for sure a worry of a lot of people. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, Sarah. Hey, no rads.
Hi.
Let's go JPC. JPC, how are you? Send your request to come off mute.
Yeah, I am.
There we go.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. JPC, what are your pronouns? What is your most proud moment as a woman or for women? And what is your expectation out of the for women under the Trump administration for the next 4 years?
My most proud moment as a woman is marrying. Well, I'm not a woman, but I have 2 daughters, and I'm so proud of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to make sure their rights are, protected.
Okay. All right. Pronouns and expectations for women under the Trump administration.
Pronouns. You know what? I don't do the pronoun thing. But expectations. I hope they let women be able to take control of their own bodies.
You just used a pronoun. Just FYI.
All right. Well,
I is a pronoun. There is a pronoun. They're all pronouns.
I have ADHD. I'm 50. You know what?
I have ADHD.
So
what
do
does that
I.
mean?
Sorry. You know what? I'm 50. Sorry.
This made a left turn.
Okay. Yeah.
So you've
Wait
been
one
speaking
second.
English for how long?
1 second. All right. No
I
worries.
never understood
hold
him
on,
in the
hold on.
beginning.
Hold on. It's fine. It's fine. We'll keep moving forward. Explain to me.
They will
No. Hey, Mr. Who's Your Daddy? Please stay on mute for me, please. JPC, what are your expectations for women under the Trump administration for these next 4 years?
Well, I'm hoping he does right by women. I hope he, reverses the Wade thing he did, because that was messed up.
Okay. All right.
And
The what thing?
Mr. Who's Your Daddy?
Road
Seriously,
first, Wade.
please stay on mute until I come back to you. I promise you I'm going to get to you, but I'm just trying to get through the introductions. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, JPC. Go back on mute for me, please.
Yeah, I'll just leave. Bye.
Okay. Nuck and Fucks 86. Can I just call you 86? Is that okay? '86, are you there? 86, are you there? 86 going once, 86 going twice. All right, I'm going to drop you down. Audition, how are you, my friend?
I am well, King. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Audition, can you tell the people your pronouns? What is your most proudest moment as a woman or for women? And what are your expectations for women over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
My pronouns are she, her, and I have two proudest moments. One was, I believe it was in the 2018 swing when we took back the House, and Nancy Pelosi was nominated, became the Speaker of the House, and all the women wore white in honor of the suffrage movement. That was a very proud moment. And my other one are the 92 to 94% of Black women who have rallied together during this time after Trump was reelected and have decided to stand together and have popcorn and chill.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Audition. I appreciate you. Go back on mute for me. No, Raz, can you hear me?
She went to go get her wings.
Oh, okay. Okay. Perfect. We'll come back to her then. Guys, listen, we are at 25,000 likes. Awesome, awesome, guys. Keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get this thing up to 25,000 likes. Let's share the live out, do all the wonderful things. Right now, the daily live goal are the chili peppers. Again, I'm setting them as these 1 cent goals so we can just continue to knock those out. It helps boost the live. So tapping the screen, sharing the live out, doing all of those wonderful things helps actually boost the live. So we need to make sure that we are being active participants. Let's keep doing these things. Kristen, how are you, my friend?
Hi, Santana. I'm doing great. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Can you tell the people what are your pronouns? What is your most proud moment as a woman or for women? And what are your expectations for women under the for the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
Let's keep it PG-13.
Absolutely not, but okay. Sure. So my she, her. Alina threw me the hell off. Damn. My proudest moment would be number one, having Ren today say that she would like me to riz her. That was really exceptional.
Oh, I missed
but
that.
On a more serious note, I think my work with students over the last several years in supplemental instruction as well as cartography work and then also in social advocacy has been really rewarding for me internally, but also for my community. So it's been really special, and although TikTok can kind of get silly and rhetorically divisive, it has bonded me with a lot of really great people and it chances to diversify my own kind of intersectional feminism.
Okay, that's wonderful, wonderful. That's I don't have the feminism, but I understand exactly what you're saying. I actually am a big proponent of that as well. So thank you. Matt, how are you this evening, my friend? Matt, I'm going to send you a request to come off mute. Are you there, Matt? Matt, can you hear me? Okay, maybe he stepped away for half a second or they stepped away for half a second, wasn't expecting me to come straight to him. So let's do this. No Rats, how are you?
Hello, I'm wonderful. How are you?
Wonderful. No, Raz, can you tell the people what are your pronouns? What's your most proudest moment as a woman? And what is, as a woman or for women? And what is your expectation over the next 4 years for women?
Well, my pronouns are they, them, but she, her is fine. Since we had this conversation on Monday, I feel like my proudest moment for other women was that I've seen people really start to take no shit, even more so than before, and I love that for them. Over the next 4 years, I don't know. I mean, I said the other day, prepare, expect the worst and prepare for worse than that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that hasn't changed, especially after what we saw happen in our government today with the influence of Elon Musk.
Yeah, no, that was super interesting. Perfect. Thank you so much, No Rads. Let's try Matt one more time. Matt, can you hear me? Matt, are you there? Matt, I'm going to send you a request to come off mute. You just have to touch your profile picture and then click on the mic, and that will unmute you. So, Matt, all you have to do is touch on your profile picture and then click on the mic, and you will be unmuted. All right, Matt, I'm going to drop you down. If you can hear me, you can request back up. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Listen, we are at 34,000 likes. Let's keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get it up to 50,000 likes. Share the live out. Do all the wonderful things to let the TikTok know that we are here for a wonderful evening of conversations. So, guys, I want to actually start this off with reminding the panel of a couple of things. And that is, we want to make sure while we're having these conversations this evening, we are able to have these conversations. So we use TikTok-friendly language. What does that mean? That means that we use words like AB, unalive, mustache man, schnozzy, C19, all of those things that not only protect your TikTok, but it protects the live. Also, I want to make sure that you guys know that on the panel and in the comments, this is a safe and friendly community. What does that mean? We don't deal with any of the isms, racism, sexism, classism, nor do we do the phobias, homophobia, transphobia, none of it. We don't play it on the panel, nor do we play that in the chat. And speaking of the chat, please be mindful of caps. Caps are for mods. It's a way for them to grab my attention and get my attention to the chat versus actually having these conversations on the panel. And we want to make sure that we're able to focus on these conversations on the panel. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Guys, keep tapping the screen. Get it up to 50,000 likes. Also, one last reminder, we do have a nightly donation goal of $250. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all of my pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24, which is at the corner of the screen. It's the best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. And please, please, please do not forget about my lovely guest host this week, Alina. Alina is actually doing something amazing. If you donate to Alina, we all know that Alina has foster kittens, but she is also on the board for rescues. And this Saturday, they are doing a food and supply drive for people who are unhoused with pets or lower income. And so if you guys want to help take care of Alina, take a look at the link in our link tree. The first one goes to Amazon wish list, which you can actually go ahead and make purchases. Now, just an FYI, if it says that it won't get there before Saturday, perfectly fine. You can still go ahead and be a part of that actual process because they continue to do these types of events and get these supplies out. And also, you will notice that it's for smaller quantities. That's also because the people that they're going to be giving these donations to more than likely might be on foot, so we want to make sure that they're able to carry it. And last but not least, you can always just hit her Cash App or Venmo, right? She likes the monies, and so we can definitely go ahead and do that.
I do want to add something. It was requested the last time I was here to add gallon-size Ziploc bags and some larger bags of food. And the rescue did go ahead and add that. So if someone does want to send a larger bag of food, just make sure you send the freezer bags with it, and we'll have volunteers, likely me, fill the bags up before Saturday.
Absolutely. Perfect. All right, guys. So we are going to go ahead and get started with the conversation. Again, chat, I need you guys to be active participants. I am resetting the gift gold again. Let's keep knocking that out. Let's keep tapping the screen. We're at 43,000 likes. Let's get past 50,000 likes. Let's shoot for 1,000 likes. Share the live out. Do all the wonderful things. Let's keep it moving because we are here for a wonderful evening. Alina, I'm going to lean on you. All right. So I know we started last weekend, on Monday, and I let you actually pick where we were going to start. But based off of something that Mr. Who's Your Daddy said, it actually got me thinking, right? And the topic that I would actually love to dive into is equality doesn't exist. And Mr. Who's Your Daddy actually spoke to the fact that he doesn't look at people that way, right? He doesn't look at them as men or women. There's no actual separation in that perspective. So I would love to hear your point of view on that. And even more so, if you can kind of let me know why it is or isn't important to actually have that actual point of view.
Well, I mean, the thing with equality is that, like, you can't treat everyone the same regardless of the circumstances, mainly because we're not all starting at the same starting line. Mm-hmm. So we strive more for equity, so everyone having the same resources, the same tools, and therefore they can achieve the best of their abilities with those tools. Mm-hmm. So by saying, oh, I don't look at men or women differently, it's a silly statement because men and women are treated differently in society. They have different laws that are governing their bodies. They have, faced systemic oppression throughout the whole time of this country. So, how can you compare a man's success who's been able to have, their own bank accounts and all that for eternity? So they've been able to pass down generational wealth versus a woman who hasn't had that opportunity. So like in my mom's lifetime is when women got the access to their own credit cards and their own bank accounts. And I think that says a lot.
Absolutely. That is an interesting point. Let's see. Audition. I'm going to come to you before I want to go to Mr. Who's Your Daddy next, but I want to come to you because I would actually like to hear your perspective on that. And also, as a black woman, because the first thing that I kind of thought, and maybe it's just me, right? But when I heard Mr. Who's Your Daddy say that, the first thing that I thought of was, I don't see race, right? Yeah. Or I don't see color.
I don't see color,
yeah, I don't see color. So I wanted to know what your thoughts were, and am I just being sensitive, or did that strike a chord with you as well?
No, you're not being sensitive. It's exactly what I thought as soon as it came out of his mouth, because it's an untruth. I mean, I'm not saying he's not being truthful, but I think it's been said so much that people are starting to make themselves believe it, but it's not true. I mean, when we see people, any human being, we identify them by gender and by race and by whatever else is going on. So when I hear people say that, it means that they're not seeing you. You're invisible unless you're something else, unless you're something that they think is significant enough to give you the attention of their time, of their viewing. But I don't believe that for 1 second, because I mean, as soon as a crime happens, the first thing you say, they were 6'5" or 150 pounds, they wore this. I mean, you see, it was a male, it was a woman, you see people. So, I mean, I give accolades to the woman that's the chief of staff to Donald, or coming in chief of staff of Donald Trump. I think that's an amazing accomplishment for any woman. So, I mean, no matter whether I support Trump and his agenda, I still think kudos for her. Kudos for a woman breaking that highest glass ceiling that's never been done before. But to say that you don't see women, and then to tell us specifically about a woman becoming the chief of staff, says you kind of do see men and women differently. You acknowledged it.
Yeah, no, and that's something that I caught as well, and I agree with you. I mean, that's something that we should definitely commend her on as well. But I mean, there's a reason why. Matt, are you back here with us? Matt, I'm going to send you a request to come off mute again. We can try again.
I know he knows how to do this. He's been in my live more than once.
Has he? Matt, touch your profile picture and then click on the microphone. Matt going once. Matt going twice. All right. Well, we're going to have to get Matt up out of here. All right. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? I wanted to give you the floor. If you could, please tell me one more time. Elaborate for me and explain to me, your thoughts, especially after hearing what the women have to say, because you were very purposeful with the comment about, not seeing people that way, but then also in the sense of, laying out the fact that there's something historical happening for a woman. So can you actually speak to that for me?
Yes. I'm proud of myself for my patience going through all that.
No,
but
listen, thank
first
you
off,
for being on mute, my friend.
Yeah, Alina, first off, because we're definitely going to clash, but I love cats, and I think it's so awesome what you're doing. So even after I'm kicked eventually, I will send you a Venmo for the cats. So
I don't have Venmo, but you can send it to Santana.
Whatever it is,
and he'll send it to me.
I got you on them cats. So several things. What I said was, I think you read more into what I said, but about you asked me what was the most significant thing for women. I'm a man, so I don't think about it that way. And as being the only man that was on the panel at the time, other than you, Santana, my first time in your group, I don't think my reaction was that was that off. However, as I sat there and thought about it, I do have an answer for you. What I think is the most significant thing.
Okay, go ahead.
It's Riley Gaines standing up for women.
Because it's not the most significant, but your most proudest moment. And
Most proud.
I'll give you an example.
I got you.
Or
I'm
sorry,
proud of
go ahead.
Riley Gaines.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm proud of Riley Gaines for standing up for women, saying that biological men don't belong in women's spaces. So that's what I'm proud of.
You're
Now,
proud of
back
transphobia.
Please, can you respect my opinion? Now, back to the other thing. When you just said about the significance of women doing something, right, and you equated it to crime, what's important is the crime. That's the most important thing, not the person who committed it. It was the crime in and of itself. So now, unfortunately for you, you want to paint everything as to be, this is the first female, whatever that did this. I don't care about that. If you accomplish something, you're a person, great for you. It wasn't any greater or any more insignificant because you're male, female, or intersex. Who cares? Why are you so trapped into that? Why does it matter?
Okay.
Why does it matter? And the only reason I brought up Susie Wiles was for you, because you asked, "What do you see women's prospects?" I brought up Susie Wiles being the first female chief of staff. You could have brought that up, but
Me?
you didn't.
You said me?
Anybody in this group, you see the prospects for women being so detrimental, and oh my God, we're going to be set back. But no other president has decided to name the first female chief of staff, and you didn't even recognize that. So it doesn't matter what happens. You're going to see nothing but negativity in this administration. You don't like Donald Trump, so let's not pretend.
Okay.
Let's not pretend that this is an actual substantive conversation based upon the administration. If you just want to bash men, do that.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your opinion. Thank you for that. The one thing that I will call out, and I will let the panel actually handle the conversation more than me, but the one thing that I do want to call out is trans women are women. And just an FYI, if there are any trans women that want to actually come up as well, again, this space is for you too. So just had to call that out. With that being said, no Rads.
Yeah, but hold on, Santana. Is Riley Gaines not a woman?
Hold on a second.
But Santana, is Riley Gaines not a woman?
Listen, this isn't a debate. I don't want to go back and forth. Again, I said I could handle it, but I don't want to. I want to let the actual panel be able to flow and have the conversation.
But you refuted my statement. Is Riley Gaines not a woman?
He didn't refute your statement, sir. He just said he doesn't.
Is anybody going to answer my question? Is Riley Gaines a woman?
No. Everyone on mute for me, please. Mr. Who's Your Daddy?
So you're downplaying the significance of Riley.
Who's Your Daddy? This is your first. Again, you just said it. Your first time in my space. Your first time on my panel. This is not a situation where we're talking over each other. We're yelling at each other. That's not how this works. This is the last time I'm going to make this request. Please stay on mute until it's your time to speak. And that's for everybody.
But this is a space where you talk where when you mute.
This is a space, and this is for everyone. Please stay on mute until it's your time to speak. We're not going to talk over each other. This is an actual panel discussion. This is an actual conversation. Mr. Who's Your Daddy? I'm telling you, if you can't respect that boundary, then you can't be a part of this conversation. I would love for you to be here, and I would love to hear your opinion and your voice, but we're not going to speak over each other, and we're not going to do that. Please and thank you. No Rats. The floor is yours. I would actually like to hear your thoughts on that.
So, Riley Gaines, if they identify as a woman, then I recognize them as a woman. If Riley Gaines says they are a woman, then and prefers to use she, her pronouns, then I will address Riley Gaines as such. Now, transphobia is harmful to everyone. Everyone. Particularly the people you think you are protecting, our youth. Because when you spew transphobia and you celebrate transphobia, kids who are transphobic, 1, get blocked from healthcare that they need, 2, are ostracized and feel like they don't belong in society, and that leads to number 3, self-deletion. Transphobia is not something to be celebrated. That's all I have to say.
Perfect. Mr. Who's Your Daddy, I'm going to come back to you in a second because I'm going to allow you to respond, but let me just introduce the new person on the panel real quick, okay? Vanessa, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Vanessa, can you tell me what are your pronouns? What is your proudest moment as a woman or for women? And what are your expectations for women over these next 4 years under the Trump administration?
My pronouns are she, her. My proudest moment as a woman was probably receiving my associate's degree and then my aesthetics license. So my
Congratulations.
career, thank you. So my career in general, and then my thoughts on the trajectory of women in the next 4 years. Was that the last question? Well, that's a really nuanced conversation. I think that YT rich women will not really be affected in the next 4 years.
That's interesting.
I think that women in lower classes and specifically people of color are going to be greatly affected in the next 4 years, which is disheartening. Yeah, that's my opinion at the moment. I heard the tail end of what Mr. Who's Your Dad was saying. I've been like in and out of the live for a little bit.
Yeah, no worries. I was just hopping to you for a second just to do the introduction. We're going to continue to let this conversation flush out, but I will come back
Okay,
to you so
cool.
you can join it. Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. Mr. Who's the Daddy? Who's your daddy? The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you for coming back to me, and I'm reading the chat as it goes, and no rads. Respectfully, I thank you for participating in the conversation, but it was apparent you have no idea who Riley Gaines is, and people
I
are
know who
talking
Riley
about
Gaines
that.
is, and no one would know who Riley
Okay, you're
Gaines
over
is if
talking
she
me?
wasn't a
Okay.
transphobe. She's a
So-
swimmer who finished fifth.
Oh, you just Googled that, but the rules are you don't overtalk me on my space. So now it's yours. You have the floor.
No, just no rats. Please hold for a moment. Go ahead, Mr. Who's Your Daddy?
So again, like it's one thing to Google it after you already commented on asking whether or not her pronouns were such and such, but the point was that I made when the question was proudest moment for women recently, and that was it. When a woman, an NCAA athlete, stood up and said that they had a problem and are willing to put everything on the line so that biological men do not come into their spaces. That was a proud moment for me for women, and you have a problem with that. You look silly, not me.
Quick follow-up question for you before we flush it back around the panel. So with the statement that you made, right? You don't think there's any harm or malice behind that actual comment, because it comes off as not necessarily saying, oh, you're actually proud of it, but it comes off as you being, like No Rats called out, and I'm not saying you are, but it definitely comes off as transphobic, and you decided to use that moment, that opportunity to answer that question and double down on transphobia. So can you see that perspective as far as why people would call that out?
No, I don't care why you call it out, and it's not transphobic to say that I'm proud of a woman for standing up for herself. In fact, I would say that's being a feminist.
You think so? Okay. All right.
If you're calling feminism transphobic, I guess we're changing words all around now, aren't we?
Well, I understand that's your opinion. Perfect. Alina, did you want to get in on this?
Hold on. Sorry, I was messaging. Matt said that he was blocked.
No, he's good. Or he shouldn't be blocked.
I checked on my end and I didn't see him. He said that he's sorry about the connection issues. He didn't mean to cause any harm. I told him that we'll be on for another 2 hours. So.
Yeah, I saw that he left and something happened, and like I thought he followed me. As a matter of fact, it did pop up on the screen, said he followed me. So.
Okay. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say except for you guys only care about women athletes when it suits your transphobia.
Okay. All right. Jay, how are you?
I'm good.
Wonderful. Jay, as someone that's a part of and I'm just going to say it like this to kind of generalize it instead of all the letters, because I just being honest, I have a difficult time.
Yeah.
The queer community.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? As far as what Mr. Who's Your Daddy just said, and I mean, am I wrong for the thought process that I had when I heard his response?
No, you're not wrong at all. I think his take is super ridiculous. I think that Alina and Norez is right. It's only convenient to bring up transphobia when it's convenient for them. So, I mean, whatever. I don't think that it's right.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you. So, Mr. Who's Your Daddy? I want to come back to you again.
So I don't understand why it's not my take. It was the take of Riley Gaines. The question was, when was I proud of
Mr. Who's Your
women?
Daddy?
Okay,
Mr. Who's Your Daddy?
yes, go ahead, Santana.
Thank you. So I kind of want to move this forward, right? And I want to get more of an understanding, right? And not necessarily the overall point that was called out, because I mean, you explain your perspective. I'm not gonna down your perspective because it's what you said. You're absolutely right. You answered the question.
But isn't it Riley Gaines' perspective? And it's her perspective, but you're attacking me for her perspective.
Well, again, I'm not attacking you. I'm just simply asking
No, your
questions.
panel's attacking me for highlighting Riley's a woman's perspective.
Mr. Who's Your Daddy? Respectfully,
okay.
let's continue. The conversation.
Respectfully, yeah.
Let's continue the conversation. So, I would like to actually get your thoughts, because you did kind of speak to the thought process around how certain people are separating achievements, right? And you said you don't necessarily look at things, and I'm paraphrasing you, and you can correct me if I'm misquoting you or getting your message across, but your thought process was more so behind you don't see the need to actually separate the overall achievements. As if something's accomplished, it's accomplished. Can you kind of elaborate on that a little bit more? Because I think that when someone does something and that's outside of the norm, it should be celebrated, right? When you have your first black president, that should be celebrated. When you have your first woman CEO or whatever, that should be celebrated. So can you tell me a little bit more about your thought process with that?
I mean, I don't know what the point is. Who does it make feel better highlighting the first? Do we highlight the second and third? Like, when do we cut it off?
Okay. So you just see,
what's the point
in actually highlighting when actual things occur that are outside of the norm?
No. There's value to it because it adds more lines to the sentence.
What do you mean?
The first whatever. But after that, then what?
Okay. So you don't see when women get opportunities that they haven't had before, that it actually sets a precedent and it gives other women those examples and give them something attainable.
That's not what you asked me. You're talking about the byline, the sentence that highlights the first blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. That has nothing to do with anybody that comes afterwards.
Okay. All right. Okay. Perfect. Fair enough. Thank you. Kristen, same question for you. Do you see any value in actually highlighting any individuals as far as any type of achievements that are outside of the norm, especially, again, if there's a woman who is able to achieve something that hasn't been achieved before?
Yeah, I'm absolutely happy to address that. Do you mind if I slightly address the prior?
Go right ahead. You got it. It's your floor.
Because I do find it interesting, Mr. Who's Your Daddy, which is perfect name for you, that you've chosen to weaponize a space that gives you a sense of control. And I realize that I have little
as you weaponize it to attack me. You're a clown.
What's going on?
Listen,
that was a quick crash out.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Okay, seriously, cut the shit.
No, I'll leave, but don't fucking attack me and then talk about me weapon.
And go. Fuck you and go. Just point blank period. You haven't been here for an actual genuine conversation. You're absolutely having a fucking fit because you can't be in control and you think that you get to talk over everybody on the panel. So fuck you, leave.
Yeah,
sorry.
What I was going
to
say, and I appreciate that, is, he thinks he very much has a silver scythe of a tongue, but the way that he spoke immediately to NORADs and the kind of light bulb that went off in his head, that he was able to have almost like a Joker-like approach to convey his thoughts onto her and not actually have a conversation to her, deeply upset me. And I'm sorry for the women who were out here hearing clear abuse signals for him. I'll bide my time because I could go on and on.
No rats.
I just want to say that none of you, unless you follow swimming, would know who the fuck Riley Gaines was until she opened her fucking mouth and said transphobic shit. And the fact that you can't even own the fact that you're a transphobic person and you're using the words of a white woman to shield yourself from having to own the fact that you're a transphobe is disgusting and makes you even less and even more mediocre of a man than you fucking are. If you're transphobic, at least own that shit. Don't put it on a woman.
Chat. We
Well
will level
said.
set. We will.
Well said.
Yeah. We'll bring it back. Listen, I mean, in all sincerity, the point of this panel is to actually have genuine conversations and try to actually flush it out. Like, we're not going to agree, and it will be a bit of a debate, but there has to be a level of decorum, a level of respect, and for anyone, and this is just FYI for anyone coming in, for anyone that tries to take over, bogart, and actually railroad everyone, that's not what this is about, and that's not what's going to happen. So, anyway, let me just say this. W's in the chat for Cindy. Cindy sent a $5 donation saying, why do so many of these guys have their own mics down their throats when they're speaking their nonsense? I don't know, Cindy. I genuinely don't know. W's in the chat for Cindy. Guys, that means we only have $245 left in the nightly donation goal. So Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all of the pay links are in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. And please don't forget about Alina while she is up here as my special guest. And she is also taking donations for a rescue. They're doing a food and supply drive this Saturday. There's a link in her link tree. The first link is the Amazon link, and you can actually purchase different items for people who are either unhoused or low income with pets, and they're proportion size for people who would possibly be on foot. So let's make sure that we're taking care of Alina and we are taking care of those gifts. And then also, of course, you can always hit her Cash App. She does take the monies. Ain't that right, Alina?
Yeah, that's definitely right.
Wonderful.
Especially after having to deal with that dude.
He
Can I go really quick? I just want to say.
1 second.
I was still talking.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Yeah, for those of you guys that came in late, dude like crashed out from the jump from his intro.
Yeah.
To me. So
I like that I got the KO though. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. It was okay. Andy.
Yeah.
How are you?
Absolutely. I am good.
Wonderful,
I just wanted to say.
I have 3 quick questions for you first.
Sure.
My friend. What are your pronouns? What is your most proud moment as a woman or for women? And what is your expectation for women over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
Yeah. Okay. So I am. Okay. So yes, I am 32. By the way, I am a teacher. I teach special education, and I would say that my favorite or my thing for the thing I'm most proud about of women is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think that she is phenomenal, and I think that she is the leader that the Democratic Party needs right now. She is a firebrand, and she has a sense of direction that a lot of people need to aspire to within the left sphere. She is a tactician. She understands the game. She understands social media, and I think that's especially critical right now.
Okay, perfect. And what are your expectations for women over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
Oh yes. Okay. Sorry. Yes, my expectations would be to support one another, be empathetic, and support each other, and just kind of be there for each other, because at this time there is a onslaught of attack, and it's I listening to some of the other people on here. I think we have to understand that people, even trans women, they're workers too, and we have to understand that worker rights are what we are fighting for, regardless of how we identify. We have to also understand that class solidarity is really what matters. It's not, we don't need to, I don't think that we need to really think about it as left versus right. I think we need to think about the people who have power and the powerless. I think that's the real fight.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. And you said there was something that you wanted to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I do want to say that I think that as we are looking into this, specifically for women, for men, for all humans, we all know that like cars need mechanics, humans need health care. And I think that the next big fight of our generation is universal health care for all. Health care is a human right.
Okay, I guess I'm a little confused. I'm trying to overall understand how that ties into, like, I mean, I get the need or desire for universal health care, but in the sense of,
right,
like the prompt and the fact that we're dealing with women in Trump's America, can you help me understand your perspective on that?
Well, Andy, are you speaking on Marxist feminism by chance?
Okay. So as far as, well, that's actually a good point. Okay, so yeah, as far as like women under Trump, I do think that we have to show a resistance, and we have to fight for people that are marginalized, and women are marginalized. So disabled people are marginalized, and that is something that is going to be a relevant fight under the Donald Trump administration, as he. I mean, let's be 100% real. Donald Trump is a fascist, and we are going to have to bring a level of vigor that I don't think the Democratic Party, to be quite frank, is ready to have. I don't think they are in the headspace and in the conversation. Like, for example, they did not want to.
Hold on one second, Andy. Hold on one second. Give me a moment. Jay has her hand up. Jay, you wanted to say something?
Sure.
Yeah. So Andy, I heard you say that you are a special ed teacher.
That is correct.
So I was born with spina bifida. It's a birth defect on the spinal cord. I am paralyzed from the knees down. I have no function of my legs. And I heard you say that the disabled community is going to have to go through a lot of fight these next 4 years, and you're not wrong.
Yes.
You're not wrong. But like, what's the relevancy of that conversation right now? Because we could sit here and talk about that. I'm honestly probably the best person to talk about it, because I am.
And Jay, can I say, spoiler alert? We will. It's just not this week.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. And I'll be there.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
Go ahead, Jay.
Like, honestly, if you like want proof, hold on. That's my wheelchair right there.
Yep.
So I feel like, not gonna lie, it's gonna piss me off if you start talking about a topic that is not really yours to have. Like, I get it, you're a teacher, but
I also have cerebral palsy. I just want to make that clear also. I'm also disabled.
okay. And I get that. And a lot of teachers, special ed teachers specifically, the school system in general does not do shit for kids with disabilities. That's what I fight for. I do advocacy lives about disabled people all the time. But that's not the place right now to have this conversation.
Okay.
Thank you, Jay.
That's totally valid.
Kristen, you had your hand up. You wanted to say something.
Yeah, certainly I don't want to speak for Andy by any means, and I hear you, Jay. The reason I asked if he was talking specifically about Marxist feminism is because from the framework that I understood, he was kind of talking about intersectionality and the difficulties we could face.
We don't want to talk about that right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm going somewhere with it. That's the only reason I keep telling
Oh,
people
fair
no.
enough. Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure he wasn't like being totally misread. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I even said, spoiler alert, we are going to disable people, and I don't want to give away too much, but yes, I mean Andy's not off. It's just that I wanted to stay on our focus, which our focus for this week is women. So that's where I was going with that.
Can I have 1 second? Because I have to leave in just a minute.
Yeah, go right ahead.
And I just wanted to say I know he's not here anymore, but I wanted to tell him, women have not been, for the longest time, women have not been granted opportunities men have. I mean, I came from a family where my great-grandma was a stay-at-home mom for 8 children, and she didn't have a driver's license. She didn't go to school. Like, that was her main source of anything. Like, she had to depend on a man for everything. And it's kind of, so when women get these big accomplishments, like the first woman president, the first secretary of state, stuff like that, like, that's a huge accomplishment, because a bunch of women back not even 3 decades ago didn't have the opportunities that women have now. And when those rights get stripped away from us, of course we're going to push back, because, we should get the same opportunities that men have. And it's just kind of disgusts me that everyone thinks that we don't get a say in anything.
Yeah, no, I agree, Sarah, and I think that there's I don't know. I mean, my perspective is I believe that everyone, accomplishment should be celebrated, and if it wasn't a reason to highlight it, I mean, if we had already had, the 15th black woman president or whatever, then maybe it wouldn't be something that you highlight, but you do highlight those achievements. In my opinion, it's because it opens up the door, and it sets an actual standard that people can actually look to achieve. So, but good stuff. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate
Thank you guys for having me on the panel. I'll definitely be back. Bye, Alina. Bye.
Have a good one.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, Sarah.
I would love for that spot to be filled with a Trump supporter.
Yeah, Zach was just here, but he left. So I was gonna bring Zach in.
Which one? The Zach?
The Zach. Yeah, if there is anyone who voted for Donald Trump and you want to give your perspective on what you think America will look, women's lives will look like under Trump America, please go ahead and request up. We will leave this box open for now. If there's anyone who actually, would you say, don't speak on our president? You got the wrong president. Who are you talking about, Shawanda? You better watch it, buddy. Shawanda, I'm so confused. Why are you talking in the chat? Are you talking about Donald Timothy Trump? If so, request up.
That's even better.
This stuff. Oh, so say this stuff isn't true. Okay. Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and send you a request. I think you're a bot. You have 2 followers and you're following 5 people. You are an absolute bot. There is no chance that you're a real person. Trump is gonna.
Can I just say?
Hold on one second, Andy.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Okay. Yeah, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. So you're a bot, and I'm gonna go ahead and block you. We're just gonna go ahead and get you up out the paint because I don't believe you. You need more people. Andy, you had something to say?
I was just going to say that I do think it's relevant. Well, first of all, I want to clarify my pronouns are he, him. And also, I do also want to clarify that I do think that a Donald Trump presidency is very scary for a lot of people right now, especially given the crimes that he has committed. He is a white-collar criminal. I believe that he is a thug, in my opinion. Given that he has ripped off so many people, he has basically said that he got on to X. I guess you'd call it X or Twitter, whatever you call it now. But he got on to X, and he said he got on with Elon Musk, and he basically laughed with him and talked about how he's going to bust up unions. And while I say that, that is actually a women's issue because they are talking about firing women, and they're talking about a power dynamic that we have never seen. So I do really fear right now for the marginalized. And I think that really what we're going to have to do moving forward as the resistance to Trump is really making sure that we understand that we have a clear message. And I would say that that clear message needs to be along the lines of, hey, look, we don't tolerate fascism. We don't tolerate bigotry. We don't tolerate ripping off of the middle class. We don't tolerate ripping off of the lower class. What we want to see is we want to see uplifting of women in this country. We want to see the power of leadership having a paradigm shift into the direction of people like AOC.
Andy,
I'm sorry, my bad.
You know how you uplift women is by letting women speak and just listening.
Yeah.
And
Andy,
not spending 5 minutes talking about stuff.
Yeah, no, Andy, I appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and drop you down, my friend. Please come back, and when we have these other conversations, which they will happen, then you can definitely join those conversations, okay? Thank you. Pat999, how are you? Pat999, how are you? Send your request to come off mute. Pat999, I am giving you the opportunity to speak. If you would like, you can come off mute. Okay, we will hold. Redeem_1, how are you?
Good, appreciate it, man.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Redeem, I'm assuming that since you got brought up, are you someone who supports Donald Trump?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Hey, so I got a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind. First and foremost, what are your pronouns? Secondly, what is your proudest moment as a woman or for women? For women. And last but not least, what are your expectations for women under the Trump administration over the next 4 years? And also, Pat99, I just saw your message. Give us a second. I'll come back to you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a man. I got genitals of a man, so yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm something else. What I would like for women is I'd like for them to be good wives and good mothers.
That's
The family unit.
neither one of those answers are questions that I. Okay, let's try this again. What are your pronouns?
I'm a man.
So you're referred to as he, him?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. He, him. What is your proudest moment for women?
My proudest moment for women. It depends on like who the woman is. I'm not proud of every woman that's on here.
Women as a whole, friend. Women as a whole.
It can be your mama. It can be an actress. It can be like I'm just anything that you saw and you said, I am proud of this woman for doing this.
Yeah. I mean, the women who are good moms and good grandmas and good wives. I'm proud of those women.
Okay. All right. What are your expectations for women over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
To be good wives and moms.
Okay, so let's start here because I feel like I just need to get an understanding. Redeemed?
Yes, sir.
In your opinion, in your illustrious opinion, what is the main function of women?
W. Tommy and Jaden Raid.
Welcome, Tommy and Jaden Ray. Welcome in, guys. What's the main function, in your opinion, for women?
I can't speak for how every woman, lives their life. But, I mean, I feel the ideal position for a woman is to be a good wife and a good mother.
I kind of figured you would say that. Okay.
The family unit. Yes, sir.
Okay. In your opinion, I mean, is there any way for them to do anything more important than be a mother or a wife?
Pray.
Okay, cool. Alina, you do it.
I don't know, what do you say to that?
Be so fucking for real right now.
No rants.
It's just. I'm trying to keep it cute because you like to keep it cute here.
I really do. I try to. Not on sparring, but at late nights for sure.
That is the most fucking ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Truly.
Okay, hold on. Vanessa, would you like to take a shot at that one?
I would.
Okay.
So my question for Redeemed would be, what are your feelings about maybe women that can't produce children? Do you think that they hold any redeeming qualities?
Yes.
And what would those qualities be? And it's not to just be a wife.
Well, Vanessa, does every woman have the same qualities?
You couldn't name anything more, better in your mind than being a mother and a wife. So my question for you would be, what other qualities could a woman have, or what else could she do that could be a good thing?
She can pray.
All right, you said that already. So maybe anything else.
She can be nurturing, loving, teach teach young girls how to be.
So a teacher, maybe
The same way.
A profession, have a profession.
Yeah, I mean, if she wants to pursue that, especially if she's not going to be able to have kids, yes, I would say that'd be all right.
This man has never had physical contact with a woman in his life.
Got a question.
Not his mom, not his sister, not a girlfriend, not nothing.
I'm sorry. I got a question. Hey, Redeem.
Yes, sir.
Who's better leaders? Men
I
or
mean,
women?
Alina, no disrespect, but who's going to touch you? Go ahead, Santana.
You're muted, Alina.
I said, friend, I've been married for 5 years, and I know it's going to.
Well, I don't know how that happened. Go ahead, Santana.
A high value man.
Redeem. please respect my special guest. That's
Well,
that's
hold on,
one second.
Santana. Why didn't you tell
Hold on.
her anything?
Hold on.
Why didn't you tell her anything?
Will you listen?
No, I'm just saying, don't be a hypocrite.
I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm telling you, she's special. You're not.
Oh.
That's what I'm trying to
Okay,
get
well,
across to you. Listen.
if she's that special, she know how to
stop and
talk
listen
right.
for a second. She's my special guest. She gets priority over anybody else on the panel.
So in other words, she can disrespect, right? Okay.
Fuck right. Yes, absolutely. She can be disrespectful.
It's trashy. It's trash.
You guys are really taking
You
me
guys
out of
don't
my
have to mute
character
him.
tonight.
Trashy ways, sir.
You guys are really taking me out of my character tonight. I promise you. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to.
Thanks for the roses. I appreciate you.
Listen, if it didn't apply, it wouldn't have bothered you, friend.
Well, no. I'm just saying. You said that the same thing about me. I'm telling you, but Santana had a problem. I didn't have a problem with what you said. I had a problem with Santana not telling you nothing. I'm not talking to you.
So then why did you attack me and not Santana?
Why did I attack? No, you attacked me.
No. But you said that
You
had an
attacked
issue
me, and then I
with
just said,
Santana
I don't know who
not
would touch
checking me
you.
on
All I
that.
said was, I don't know who would touch you. He attacked me. I didn't attack you.
Oh. Mhm.
So let's make this super clear, Redeem. Alina's special. You're not. And I'm just gonna keep it.
And
that
she's
simple.
disrespectful, but okay.
If you
And
say
I love
so.
every moment of it.
Exactly. If you
Well,
say
we need
so.
less women like you. That's all I could say.
You haven't met me yet, honey.
Shit.
We need
Not
less
at all.
women like that. That's all I
I
could
was
say.
trying to be nice.
Just for that statement, I'm gonna have 27 babies. I'm starting tomorrow.
Yeah. Let me read these off. Debbie's in the chat for Ty. Ty sent a $1 donation saying Andy is not reading the room. Yeah, Ty, Andy definitely wasn't reading the room. W's in the chat for Corey, who sent a $5 donation, said, why are they getting so many disingenuous, dumb AF, ignorant men on the panel today? What the F is happening? I don't know, Corey. I have no idea. Corey, I have no idea.
I know.
Is there a full moon?
Is it?
Because I'm here on my main account. That's why.
Oh. Like,
That's why.
I'm trying to really stay in who I am.
Let's be honest.
Okay. Debbie's in the chat. So that means we only have $239 to close out the nightly donation goal. There's 408 people here. So if 239 people send $1, we can definitely wipe that out. So guys, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. And please don't forget about Alina, our lovely friend Alina.
I haven't gone to say thank you to anybody yet.
I was just about to say, let's make sure we're hitting her pay links. Let's make sure that we're taking care of Alina. And also, let's make sure that we're donating because she is doing a food and supply drive for this Saturday for people who are unhoused and are lower income with pets. She has an Amazon wish list and her pay link. It's the top one, but she will also take the money. So you can make sure that you hit her Cash App. We have that running in the poll if there's any questions. With that being said, Redeem, I'm going to come back to you for a second. Okay? Redeem, I want to get your thoughts on this. Not in every situation. So I don't want to be like hyper fixated on every situation. But in general, do you think that women are or could be better leaders than men?
Like in what occupation would you say?
Leading the house, leading the country, leading a school, like just in general. Do you feel like there's situations where women are better leaders than men? And I guess even more so thinking about like take Donald Trump and Kamala Harris aside. Do you think that like in 2025 could a woman be president of the United States?
I mean, we see it in other nations. I don't know about for United States, but
why not?
It's rugged. It's a rough job.
Do you think women can be leaders of a household?
There's many and many other are good leaders of the household, and it's usually because they're single, and it should be that way if they're single.
So you think the only way that women are leaders is if they're single?
Well, I'm not saying that that's the only way, but I'm just saying that would be the ideal situation for them to have to be. Is what I'm saying. Now, if they're the leader of the household over a man, that's a whole nother story. And I think
Tell
that
me that
it's an
story.
outline.
That's the one that I want to hear. What does that look like to you? Like, how does that actually unfold?
How does it unfold?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, a man with no vision, for number one. A woman who's not willing to take the, passenger side, being next to her man in support of him, wanted to fulfill her own dreams, her own will, her own purpose. And, it happens every day. That's your modern day relationship and marriages.
So you're saying a woman who has purpose and is looking to fulfill her purpose is not a good partner?
Well, it depends what purpose it is. If it's getting in between, the man's vision that God has given him, then it becomes a hindrance. Not all the time is a woman going to be won over automatically, but over time it should be, where the woman says, you know what, I want to follow what it is that you want to go for. I want to get behind that, support that, and if a man can win her over, it's not automatic. It doesn't happen by default, but it could happen, and I think that would be an ideal situation.
Okay, hold on one second. Audition?
Lord Jesus, let us pray.
Yeah.
Let me just ask a real honest question. Was that Redeem that was speaking?
Yeah.
Redeem, can I just ask you, just respectfully, what do you do for a living?
Fiber optic technician.
So you're able to support a wife and children?
Yes.
Okay, that's the most important thing that you have as value to your house, is that you're able to provide.
Is it the highest value? No.
Okay, so
It's an important one, but it's not the highest. No.
Absolutely, I think it's an important one. But what does God command the man to do?
Submit to his wife, or submit to his wife just like a woman would, and love his wife like Jesus loves the church.
Right. So, I mean, literally, if you're asking women to, if you're going to love a woman, the first thing you have to do is not respect her and say her value is only to raise children and to pray. Because that's what God called us to do. I mean, you heard about the virtuous woman who was a businesswoman and also a community leader and all these other things in the community. That was a virtuous woman, and that's what God said. He who finds that finds a good thing and receives favor from the Lord.
That's
Not
right.
someone that is just an ignorant childbearer. And I'm not saying women who
Well,
just
that's
have
not
babies.
ignorant. First of all, it's not
I fixed myself. I'm just saying that it's not just something where you have a woman who just has babies over and over again and
Nope,
stays around
that's
the
not
house
what I'm
and
saying.
prays. Okay, but that's what it's
Hold
coming
on one
off.
second,
And
Redeem.
that's fine, but I'm not
Redeem,
saying.
Redeem, hold on one second. Please allow Audition to speak and finish her train of thought.
Thank you. I'm sure that's not what you meant to come off sounding like, because that what you're doing is disrespecting God and his woman, because we're all God's children, and God would not like for you to disrespect women and treat them like they're property, because they're not. God said to submit to one another out of reference to Christ. So being disrespectful and saying her only value is to bear children and to pray for you is literally disrespecting God, because he made us beautifully and wonderfully, and we're complete in and of ourselves.
When I said be a
And
good
we're to
mother,
be a help.
I
I'm
didn't say
still
just make
speaking. I'm
kids.
still speaking.
I
I'm
said be a
still
good mother,
speaking.
good wife.
I'm still speaking.
One
Redeem.
second,
You have
Stop putting words in my mouth.
Redeem. Listen, my friend, I promise you I'm going to give you an opportunity.
Not to put words in my mouth, sir.
Redeem.
I would
Listen.
never put anything
Now
in
I
your mouth.
remember who
sir.
I
Audition
said being
is.
a good mom and good wife. I didn't say
Audition's the
Redeem,
one that
hold
Audition's the one that just cooked the crap out of him
Yeah.
the first
Yeah,
time I was on a panel with
I'm
him.
not cooking. She's putting words in my mouth.
She's been up here more than a few times. Redeem. I keep putting you on mute. There's no random, mysterious, magical, mystery ghost that keeps putting you on mute. It's the host. I'm putting you on mute for a reason. Please stay on mute until it's your turn to come back. If you want to correct something that she says, I will give you the floor. I will give you the floor. But until I come back and give you the floor, please stay on mute.
After you put a bunch of words in my mouth.
God damn it. Why are you guys why can't you control yourself? Like, what is, why? I'm sorry, go ahead, audition.
It's okay. I'm going to suggest that you read Second Timothy, Redeem, because it talks about having lack of self-control, and that's something that God does not honor. And God actually tells us to have nothing to do with people that have lack of
You're an accuser of the
self-control.
brethren, audition.
Literally, stop talking.
You're not.
Please, sir.
You're
I'm
an
being
accuser.
respectful. I'm being respectful to you. I'm trying to be respectful to
Hold
you.
on one second. Hold on one second, audition.
False witness.
Hey, Redeem. Quick
False
question
witness.
for you.
That's what she's doing.
Redeem, quick question for you. How old are you?
31.
You're 31, and you have a wife and kids, right?
Yes.
Well, why the fuck can't you be an adult? Be a grown-ass man and stop
Santana,
having a
I'm
fit.
telling audition,
No,
stop,
you stop
putting
having a
words in my
fit.
mouth and bearing false
You
witness.
come into a space filled with women to join the conversation, to join the panel, and the very least that you can do is control yourself and stop being so emotional. I'm literally getting sick and tired of this shit, and I promise you, I'm gonna get you up out the paint because I need you to stop doing what you're doing and allow people to actually speak.
May I just add
Why
that
do you let her lie?
speaking over scripture is blasphemous, sir. Please be quiet and respect audition.
Audition, please finish your thought. I apologize. Chat, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry.
He's gone, but I think that honestly, and this is, I'm not trying to be all holy and Christian-y and all that other crap because I don't want people to come off like that, but there is a real problem that we should all be praying about and thinking about and talking to our Congress people about. It's mental health. Something is going on with our men. And I'm not trying to be rude or I'm not trying to be funny. There is something going on with our men. And I'm not talking about all men, but there is something, there's a tick or a screw loose. Somebody has hurt them somewhere. Somebody didn't accept them to the prom or something. And they're losing they're crashing out all around us. And it's scary because we need them. We need men. Women need men. Men need women. Women need trans women. We need all of us to make this work. And something is really, really wrong. I'm going to pray for him because he's crazy, and I do curse, and I know in James 3:10 it says, out of the same mouth comes praising and cursing. My brother and sister, that shall not be, but he also said that he will forgive us if we confess our sins. So that nigga was batshit crazy for what he was saying. Women are more than just baby makers. Yes, we can't have it all at the same time, but you should go after all of your dreams. My apologies for cursing.
You're good. No, my apologies for cursing. You know what? I was a little emotional.
He deserved it.
But it happens. Sometimes I get in my feels. No, Raz, sometimes I feel my feels in my tum-tum.
It's okay, boo. I love you.
Oh, man. Okay. Whew. Let me just read these off real quick. W's in the chat for Corey. Corey sent a $4 donation, said, I'm tired of this shit, Grandpa.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
It's too damn
bad.
W's in the chat for Erica, who sent a $5 donation, says, when you mess with Alina, you can never redeem yourself. Absolutely.
I love that. It was a very Big Brother moment. I appreciated it.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Guys, we still have $230 left in the nightly donation goal. Santana Speaks 24, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. But also, I really want to focus in. Alina, have you not received anything yet?
Not a thing.
Guys, can someone please make sure Alina's pay links are in the link tree? I'm sorry, not in the link tree, but in the poll. can we please take care of Alina? Let's make sure that we're showing Alina some love, because Alina is my special guest for this week, and we need to make sure that we're taking care of her. Make sure we hit her Cash App. Make sure we're hitting the link tree. Make sure we're gifting the panel. Everyone up here is amazing, and they've been super patient with me. So let's just do all the wonderful things, guys. Let's get the likes up. We're at 112,000 likes. Let's get the likes up to 150,000 likes.
We need to get the shares up, though.
Yeah.
We have 421 people in here. Everyone should share it at least 5 times. We should be over 2,000 shares at this point. And I know you guys like when I scold you, so this is me scolding you. That we need to get the shares up.
Absolutely.
And it's already like shares are already going up.
Absolutely. Pat99, you want to try to come off mute again? Pat99, in order for you to come off mute, what you do is you touch your profile picture and then you hit the microphone. So just look at your phone, look at yourself, touch your picture, and then click the little microphone. I'm going to send you a invite to come off mute. Pat999.
If not, we can invite up Hank's dad because he's having a mantram in the chat.
Pat999, I'm gonna give you one more. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds. Honestly, just touch the profile picture and then click the microphone. Touch the profile picture, click the microphone. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Is he talking in the comments?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, guys, if there is a Trump supporter that would like to come up and actually speak from the perspective of how women could possibly benefit in Trump's America, please request up. You are welcome. We would love to hear your voice. J Hood, are you someone who supports Donald Trump?
No, sir, I do not support Donald Trump.
Okay, no worries.
From my point of view.
Okay, I'm going to drop you down, but you can request back up and I'll get you in soon, okay?
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, guys, if you are a Trump supporter and you would like to actually come up and make your voice heard, if you are someone that wants to actually speak from the perspective of why you think Donald Trump would actually be beneficial for women over these next 4 years, we would love to hear your voice. If you disagree with the background and you don't think that Trump America hates women, please go ahead and request up. We're going to keep this moving in the meantime. Parkers, how are you?
I'm pretty decent. How are you this evening?
Oh, Parkers, I'm doing.
That sounds about right. I, by the way, am your biggest fan. I have been for like a week.
My biggest fan?
Yes, like
Parker said that to me yesterday, so just
I was like, I enjoyed and respect you before, but everything that you've done over the last X amount of days, especially pertaining to like Alina's and NORAD's community, I've been your biggest proponent on the down low.
Well, so let me take a moment and I'll just say this, right? I was where was I? Who was it? Alina. It was the guy that was talking, and he was talking to Jones, right? And he was saying something about like, what have you done or something, right? And he was like, oh, I know Alina and I know someone else. You remember that conversation? It was like a couple of days ago.
Vaguely. They do that often.
Yeah, so, and then like, he was like, yeah, I don't know you and all this other stuff. Anyway, I tried to request up, but then, you know, I couldn't get up quick enough. And then I know you got up and you kind of spoke, but then it made me really...
oh, it was him. Everything's podcast.
Yeah.
He was in here earlier.
Yes. It was. Because I was like, I'm not going to talk to him.
Rahel.
Yeah. But, so I say that to say, Parker's the reason why I do so much, or I interact so much with Alina. I interact so much with NORAD, and you'll see me interact with Jeff, and you'll see me interact with Mr. Thomas, and just all this other stuff. Is you know, I am a part of the Tough Fam, right? And I feel like Jones fostered a community, and there's a bunch of people who have found their voice, and we've kind of spread out from that point. And you know, now, like, I don't know if Erica's still alive or not, but Erica was kind of in as well, and Erica is a part of us, and then she kind of spread out, and It's just
she is, guys. She is in fact alive, but she's still alive.
what did I say? Is she alive?
Yeah, that's what you said. It sounded like something happened to her.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Yeah, she's not on live anymore, but she is in fact present on this in this plane.
She is not unalive. But no, I just say that to say like it's a wide net, and I feel like we're growing, right? And we might branch off and do our own things, but we still come back and support each other, and that's what we do, right? So
Yeah.
What?
It's a big deal because like cis dudes, they don't really always pull through, you know.
Yeah, you're very popular, Santana. After Saturday, you're
Me?
very popular in our Discord. Yeah.
Hey, W's to the Discord then.
Which
No,
is
it
a
was
shame
fun.
because if you are a subscriber, and the fact that you haven't entered my Discord
Listen,
to see all the praise is
Rude.
bananas.
I battle so much with Discords. I struggle
I
with
know.
Discords because I
It's a lot.
have OCD, and notifications notifications make my skin itch.
Santana, can I say something to
Yeah.
you with so much love in my heart?
Yeah.
First, I have to preface this by saying I'm sorry that the incels have followed me here.
Okay.
But second, I have to say, welcome to my world, babe. Welcome to my world.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I don't want to do this topic
And
anymore.
Alina's world. And Kristen's world. Have you had enough? Mercy?
I was like, I don't want to do this topic anymore. Why are they doing this? What is happening?
Every day, Erica too.
Listen.
It's not for the weak, is it?
No, it is not. My wife is messaging me. She said, relax, breathe, relax.
Yeah, you got to let us do a little socialism maybe and take control of a little bit of the conversation. I don't know if you noticed, Santana, but the amount of time the men spent not only occupying the space of talking, but interrupting, also needing to be scolded, and then reactive. They take up at least 70% of the platform on a women's panel. It's crazy.
This is fucking madness. It's madness. I don't get it. It's madness. Like, why
But
can't
I love
they
you.
control themselves?
Love you guys so much.
Okay, hold on. Let's
I
do this.
very much love you.
I love you more. Parker, let me
Oh,
ask
and I
you the
need to
question.
interject real quick. I've been modding for Jones for like 3.5 years, so I'm tough adjacent, and I just needed a moment to say thank you guys for letting me be a part of this.
We're all
We
a
love you,
family.
Kristen.
Absolutely.
You're not tough adjacent. You are tough, fam. What are you
exactly.
talking
I
about?
don't understand how that
I'm an
is.
insecure
Nah.
girl. Just tell me I'm cool.
Nah, you're even cooler because you're in the
Mommy?
Goon Squad. You're
Sorry.
in the crashed out
Mommy?
crew.
Sorry.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Okay, Parkers, let's get the questions. What are your pronouns? What is your proudest moment as a woman or for women? And what are your expectations for the next 4 years for women under the Trump administration?
Nice. My pronouns are she, her. My proudest moment for women was the creation of Aqua Tofana.
What is that?
Just Google it. I'm joking, but I'm also not really joking. The real answer is my proudest moment as a woman is still being alive today, educated and educating, thriving despite layers and layers of direct and indirect toxic patriarchal interference and attempts at otherwise. I very much vibe with RBG's nevertheless she persisted.
Okay.
And to that effect, the next 4 years, I'm bracing myself, my family, my community, frankly, for the worst. We're in Texas, where maternity and infant mortality rates are on the rise, but they're no longer formally being tracked. And Texas is very loud and proud about that because they know it's gotten bad and it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Hateful vitriol towards women has ticked up, especially for Black, Indigenous, and any women of color, and it's just going to get worse. The chauvinistic pillars of MAGA are feeling confident in their malicious ignorance. They're feeling proud of feeling like they can keep us in our place, and any perceived threat to that will be placing us, women, femme-presenting persons, everyone in their crosshairs, and we're going to have to make peace with that now. Yeah. We're going to have to prepare for the best that we can within our means and our abilities and just fucking persist because they want us to buckle and cry and give up the way that they have never been able to make us do before. They didn't get it from indigenous women in the 1400s. They didn't get it from enslaved women to the 1800s. Women who studied medicine for their communities, even as they were still being treated as property. They didn't get it from the gay or trans women at Stonewall, and they're not going to get it from us for this next 4 years.
I know that's right. I know that's right. W's in the chat for Parkers. Yeah, boy. Let me do this real quick because, well, one, I must be spelling it wrong because I keep finding Aquafina. So I don't know.
It's Tofana.
You might
thought it
also
was-
you might be
thought
putting
that-
yourself on a list right now.
Yeah.
With Discord, you would already know.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna just stick with Aquafina then. Steve, just to verify, Steve, are you a Trump supporter?
100%, yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I'm gonna come back to you. Let me introduce Ty real quick, and then I'll come back to you. I just wanted to verify because I know we do have one other person that is in the request that's a Trump supporter, and I see Lawful Expat in the chat as well. Great. Ty, how are you, my friend?
Hi, friends. How are you?
Wonderful. Also, welcome in, Harry Raid. Ty, can you tell the people what are your pronouns? What is your proudest moment as a woman or for women? And what are your expectations for the next 4 years for women?
My pronouns are they, them, he, him. My proudest moment as a uterus having person. I'm going to second Parker saying Aqua Tofana because dead ass. So, and then I also am going to follow that up with saying that literally every time Jasmine Crockett says anything ever is a win for women.
Absolutely.
Harry Raid, welcome.
Welcome in, Harry Raid. Welcome in, Harry Raid. All right. Thank you for that. And last but not least, Steve. Steve, what are your pronouns? What is your most proud moment as a woman or for women? And what is your expectation for women over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
Well, obviously I'm a Trump supporter. The pronoun thing is just ridiculousness, but
Uses pronouns.
I don't understand why women are so worried about being oppressed when Donald Trump has put probably 30 of them in high-ranking positions in government. He's looking at the Florida district attorney to be the.
Hey, Steve. I
Yes.
promise you I'm going to give you the floor, but can you please address the questions?
I'm sitting here saying what I feel that is going to happen for women.
Okay.
He's put them in high-ranking positions across the board. Why does everybody feel like he's going to be oppressing?
Maybe let me do the questions one at a time and repeat them. Right. What are your pronouns? Pretty simple. I'll give you an example. He, him.
He,
Right?
him. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you. Number two.
I
What
think
is
that's
your
ridiculous.
what is your proudest moment as a woman or for women? So for you, what's your proudest moment for women?
The fact that they have all the rights and privileges as everybody else and can live their life however they see fit.
Okay, perfect, cool. Last but not least, now what are your expectations for women over the next 4 years under the Trump administration?
I believe that women will be incredibly and wildly successful unless they have in their own mind that they are oppressed, in which case they're just going to act as though they're oppressed for the next 4 years and crawl under a rock and then blame Trump for it.
Okay.
So if women have the expectation and the drive and the determination and the moxie, they'll do just fine. Just the same as any man. And any man that doesn't feel that they can succeed is going to be in the same boat. Success is a mindset. It has nothing to do with gender, has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
Because I know successful people in every nationality, every color, every creed, every sex, and using Trump as excuse for
okay,
failure
okay,
is ridiculousness.
Okay, just all right, perfect. I just wanted to get that introduction. We'll get into it, and I'll let you do more speaking as well. But I want to make sure that we actually guide the conversation. I thought that I had reverb in my headset at first. I was like, is my headset breaking? I didn't know what that was. Guys, W's in the chat for Joseph. Joseph sent a $5 donation saying, for women hate women, that's the biggest problem. Okay, Joseph. Joseph, I mean, that's what Joseph sent the $5 donation to say. As a matter of fact, is that official, Joe? Official Joe, that's who it is. Official Joe, I see you in the request. I'm going to get you in here in a minute. I would love to hear you actually defend that point. So just hold tight in the request.
Not someone saying, can we put the cat down or mute? This is free ASMR, guys.
Yeah.
I do have some people to thank.
Well, let me get this other one off real quick. W's in the chat for Michelle. Michelle sent a $20 donation saying, you handle narrow-minded MAGA so well. Not too well. I usually do better, but W's in the chat for Michelle. Guys, that means we're only $205 away from closing out the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. All the pay links are in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to support the live. Let's go to Alina because she has some thank yous, and she's going to tell you what those donations that you send to her actually go towards. Alina?
All right. So I have a $5 donation from Miss Julie saying thanks for all you do. I have an anonymous $50 donation. So huge thank you to that person. I have a $2 donation from Corey on behalf of Hank's dad. He can't figure out CA, I guess. Listen, technology's hard, I guess. I got a $5 donation from Image Enthusiast and a $10 donation from Larita on PayPal. Thank you so much. And then a $3 donation from Corey from Hank's dad said to send more money to Alina. So thank you, Corey, for helping Hank's dad out for that. And as far as donations, y'all, I foster kittens. This is Chairman Mao. I've raised him since he was a little bottle baby. This Saturday, I am helping the rescue that I'm on the board of to do a food and supply drive for pets. And it's going to be for unhoused and low-income people in an underserved community here in South Florida. So I have a link at the top of my link tree that says pet food and supply drive or something like that. It's the first link. And you can send those items through Amazon, and it'll get sent directly to the rescue, and they'll be passed out this Saturday. So.
Perfect.
Look at little Mo.
W's in the chat. Alina, so I would actually I'm gonna lean on all of you, right? So Alina, No Rads, Parkers, Ty, Vanessa, Kristen, Audition. I'm gonna lean on all of you to handle this conversation, and I'm actually just gonna kind of step back and do what men do, a bunch of nothing, right? I would actually like to hear you guys guide this conversation because Steve's point is women are going to be okay. Women are going to be good under the Trump administration. They just have to grab those bootstraps and pull themselves up, right? And as long as they can hold on to those bootstraps, they have no issue, right? They have all the rights in the world and everything is going to be okay. So don't fearmonger women, because you have nothing to worry about. So, Alina, I'll start with you, and we can go to Steve, but I'll let you guys guide this portion of the conversation.
I'm not going to lie. He was saying a bunch of nothing, so I wasn't really paying attention to him.
That sounds very democratic.
Oh, I got this. He was saying because of proximity, because women exist in the Trump administration.
Oh yeah. Now I remember. That doesn't make a difference. You can
certainly makes a difference.
No, because you could have a black friend and still be racist as fuck. So just because he's putting people in his cabinet doesn't mean that he's not a misogynist, a raging misogynist. The court cases don't lie.
He has more women employed than most cities.
Okay, and
what?
Doesn't make a difference. He's still putting in policies and supporting policies that would strip our rights away. So
How do we find a way to parlay that already?
He has the most women documented as assaults than any other president has. So, what would you think?
Chalk that up to he's a billionaire, and that's going to happen.
he is not a billionaire, friend.
To chalk it up to any billionaire, just to give them a free pass, right?
What?
Stop it. Do you know how many women throw themselves at him every single day?
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
seen him?
We're not going to do great
I have a
proposal.
question for you.
I remember seeing Hugh Hefner in bed with 21
Nope,
women
let's not do it.
that were 20 years old.
Hey,
So,
Hey, Steve.
Okay, so yep, let's pull it back for a second.
you're going to sit there and act like because he's not a billionaire, women aren't going to. You could look like absolutely the Hunchback of Notre Dame. If you
Our
had $1 billion,
consent still matters,
women
quit
are
it.
going to throw themselves at you.
Steve, you're getting kind of icky. Let's pull
No,
it back
because
a
I'm
little
being
bit.
truthful.
No, because
The
you're
women
I
are
have
the
a
icky
question.
ones.
Hold
The
on,
women
Steve.
that throw
Steve,
themselves.
Steve,
We gotta check your
holy
browser history.
Smokes, Steve,
FBI, get
breathe,
on that.
my friend, breathe. Ty has a question for you. Go ahead, Ty.
How many essay accusations does Steve Jobs have?
I'm gonna send you a request to come off mute, Steve.
The better Steve, I guess.
Oh, I couldn't answer you because I got muted again.
Yes, I muted you because you were
If I get
crashing
muted
out.
one more time, I'm just going to leave because that's so childish.
Bye bye.
I muted you. Now what?
Interrupting people is childish, Steve. We can have a conversation. Oh,
What a baby.
Absolute entitlement for this space. It's
just
crazy.
like Trump. Just like Trump.
I
Honestly.
I am thoroughly confused, and no Raz, I am 100% blaming this on you. Like,
Wait, I'm fine.
Like 100%. This is wild.
Are there
That's
people
okay.
who don't experience this every day? What?
Yeah.
So,
I know
if
we
you
don't
guys
have
like,
this many people crash out back to back to back on a panel. This isn't
Well,
like
this is a vacation. I don't know.
This
People
is
like
much
you,
more
I guess.
pleasant than our space, just because like you're here, so they like make eye contact with you, and they're like, they tone down a little bit because it's like this is a
Yeah.
man. He's gonna like commiserate with me.
so if you guys love the fact that the incels are here, my Cash App and Venmo are in my bio. So.
Yeah.
But Audition is right. Like, toxic patriarchy doesn't do men any favors either. It emotionally dysregulates. We raise and we socialize boys into men like this because of the toxic patriarchy. And yeah, tonight is a nice night. We haven't got any slurs or direct bodily threats yet. Like, this is light work.
Yeah.
Well,
Light work.
Okay. Debbie's in the chat for Ami, who sent a $2 donation saying, I love your lives. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Debbie's in the chat for Ami. That means we're only $203 from closing out our nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Please don't forget to take care of Alina, because when you donate to Alina, she helps take care of those wonderful foster kittens, and she's also doing a food and supply drive this Saturday. Make sure you check that link in her link tree, and we're taking care of all of those things. With that being said, we got someone on the panel, at least I know isn't going to crash out, because this is one of my people.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
Official Joe.
Challenge accepted.
Joe, please don't let me down. Joe, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but like your brethren are out here losing their mind.
That's because they not men.
Holy smokes, I don't know what's happening. Okay, Joe. That was you that sent the Cash App, right?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, so let's talk about it. You said that, I can't remember what you said verbatim, but you basically said women hate women.
Yep.
Okay, can you break that down for me, Joe?
Well, so it could be a roller coaster, but like there's 1,000 ways to start. So like self-interest, right? Every woman has a different level of self-interest. But when it comes to women's rights, women vote against other women's rights. Look what happened during this election, right? They're divided. Women are divided. And until they unite as a front and define all the things that are being questioned in the world, the things that they want to stand for, that to me is the biggest downfall, is that women don't stand together. And that's why I said women hate women, because you have half the world screaming, ABs, half the scream singing no ABs, and then what it is and what it isn't. And to me, to see so many women, and I know my mom's a strong woman. She's watching my dad go through stage 4 cancer right now, and we lost our grandma and grandfather to the same thing. And I see so many strong women raise children by themselves, and there's so many beautifully strong women out here. To see the dividing amongst beliefs and what a woman is, whether it's a feeling or if it's a physical thing. Like, there's just so many questions in the world today that, to me, derive from the fact that it's not just Trump that hates women, it's women that do, because they don't stand together.
Okay. Let's say Alina, I'll give you first pass on that.
I'm just confused. I'm confused if he like agrees with us or doesn't agree with us, or what's.
It's both. Like, I agree, but I don't agree.
Misogyny,
I understand, but like, anytime a man is in power, it's going to have misogyny attached to it. Every president, I don't care who it is, like, you can find some level of misogynistic views in it. So aside from presidential hatred, women's hatred towards themselves is the biggest issue, is my point.
Can I respond to this, Santana?
Yeah.
Here's my problem with what you're saying, official. If I'm understanding you correctly, it sounds like you're saying that women are against each other because we can't agree on whether or not abortion should be allowed, or sorry, smortion, excuse me, whether AB should be allowed or not, whether Trump should be president or not, whether or not blah, 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 blah. Basically, women can't agree, so we're all against each other. I would just like to point out that women are not a monolith. This is a thing that's been being said a lot recently for the queer community, for the black community, for the POC community in general. We're not a monolith. We're allowed to have different opinions and still be on each other's side. Some women don't believe in AB for themselves, but believe that other women should have the right to choose that. Actually, the majority of women do if you look at polls. So trying to say that women are separated just because we have differing opinions is kind of crazy.
Well,
I have my hand
half
raised.
of the world is split by
Hold on,
not even.
Joe.
Sorry.
Hold on 1 second. Alina has something to say, and for the people
May I go
in the
after
chat,
Alina?
the people that in the chat they're asking. Joe voted for Trump, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alina.
I think, and I know Santana doesn't want to go into this too much, but like it has to be mentioned that yes, women, when raised in a patriarchy, have to deconstruct their internalized misogyny. But what we saw in this election was a clear, when you look at the exit polls, was a clear view of essentially white supremacy, because women chose to side with their whiteness over their womanhood, and that's why you saw the white women. And it's not necessarily that they. I mean, I guess that's a sign of them disliking women, but it's also a sign of white supremacy that they chose to side with their whiteness.
Yeah, that's been happening since the beginning of time.
No shit, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, and
But that's what I'm saying. You said that to say what? Like, no disrespect, but like, not to go down this rabbit hole, but like the majority, like there's a question right now of what a woman is. Like the world is asking, like people are asking what a woman is.
There is no, but that's not a genuine question, and you
But hear
know
me out
it.
though. Just hear me out though. People are actually talking. There's talks on these TikToks. There's talks all over the world about what a woman is and how you can be a woman or how a woman should feel. Like there's like it's literally craziness.
None of that is coming from you, though. That is all coming from other males on the conservative side. Hi, Buzzy.
Hi. So if you're seeing that on your social media, you're looking at it as a very microscopic viewpoint where most people are not having these conversations. As a matter of fact, the election told us that most people aren't having these conversations. And how do we know that? After the election happened and more people started talking and saying what they are and what they aren't going to do with Project 2025, what we saw via search engines were people asking if they could change their vote, were people asking asking what tariffs actually was? Were people asking if the Affordable Health Care Act was Obamacare? We know people aren't having these conversations on any sort of wide scale. The only thing people cared about was grocery prices, because American exceptionalism has hit people in the solar plex. And for whatever reason, people in this country believe that the United States of America has the ability to tell other governmental bodies what to do because that bald eagle flies on a random Tuesday whenever it feels like it. So, no, we know people are not having these conversations on a wide scale. Donald Trump got in front of the world and said that he was going to make grocery prices go down, and people were ignorant enough to run with it. And unfortunately, we've known for decades that typically Democrats only show up every 8 years to vote statistically. And this was another instance of that, when you have tens of millions of people not show up to vote at all. That in lies the problem. People only vote when they feel like they're being negatively impacted. What happened with C-19 negatively impacted the masses, and that got people to show up to vote. Unfortunately, the only way people vote is if they feel like they have faced destruction in some way, shape, or form. And the easiest way to make people feel destruction is when you hit them in their pockets, which is exactly what C-19 did. C-19 hit everybody in their goddamn pockets, so people showed up because of their wallets. And once again in this election, people once again put their wallets at the forefront without understanding that the President of the United States of America does not control those systems. That's just the reality. You can't blame women for internalized misogyny when patriarchy is what taught them this. When whole systems in place were based on putting, even when the men were at war and women had to step up to keep the infrastructure growing, the men came back and felt threatened by women being in positions of power. And so what happened? The rates of domestic violence went up in this country. The rates of women being unalived went up in this country. You can't blame women for suffering inflicted upon them on men. It's not women's fault. If this system, if what you're saying is the root cause of the problem, the only ones that can fix it are the men. And unfortunately, men won't do it because it puts them at a disadvantage. A lot of the problems we're facing now is because men feel like they're at a disadvantage. The most educated demographic in this country are women. Women are out educating the men. Men feel threatened. And then on the opposite side of that, when we look at supremacy, you have men that are talking about they feel like white people are going to be obsolete, that they're being erased. When we've known historically since the inception of millennials, the first diverse generation this country had seen, that over time, eventually racial ambiguity would be how this country would look. We will suffer at the hands of men's own security in this country until this country no longer exists.
Absolutely. Also, hey Buzzy, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Still
Good.
sick, but trying.
Yeah. Let me do this because Ty, I'm gonna come to you. No Rads, I want to hear from you. I want to come back to Joe. I'm gonna flow all around. Let me just introduce Black Historian. How are you? The Black Historian, are you there?
Cousin Billo, if you keep like spamming the chat with please add, I need to speak for the men, please add, I'm gonna just mute you and never add you.
Okay. I think the Black Historian might have fell asleep. Might have fell asleep in the request. Okay, I'm gonna drop her down.
She was already in bed when she was on Erica's live. So
yeah,
it is
she does that sometimes.
Yeah, it's possible.
She does that sometimes on the panel.
I fell asleep on Javon's panel this morning.
Yeah,
Morning Manifesto.
That happens.
Buzzy's voice is so soothing.
Yeah, sometimes she hangs out, and sometimes, that tends to happen. Let me read a couple of these off, and again, I really want to get to the rest of the panel and get a whole flow. But I gotta say, W's in the chat for Jade, who sent $1, say, poor Santana in our shoes and tired already. AF. Listen, I had no idea that I was going to be fighting the fight like this. I thought, oh, this would be a really good discussion, and we'll be able to have conversations. And I had no idea that we were just going to deal with one crash out after another. You're absolutely right.
That's why I get banned all the time.
Jeez Louise. W's in the chat for Michelle. No, I'm sorry, from Michael. Michael said a $10 donation. Said, "Yo, Santana, please do more lives with Carbon. Y'all were awesome." Yeah, I love Carbon. Carbon's super dope. Thank you for the $10 donation. Also, thank you for the Galaxy. I saw that. Also, W's in the chat for Olivia. Olivia sent a $5 donation. Said that dude was being disingenuous AF. Thank you for being you. Which one? Which one? Pick one. Yeah.
Not Mao.
Exactly.
Mao was perfect.
Guys, thank you so much for the donations. That means we only have $187 left in the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Alina, do you have any W's to read off? Any thank yous?
No, not right now.
Okay, well, guys, make sure we're taking care of Alina, because Alina is up here and she is laboring with us as a special host, and she is also doing a food and supply drive as well. And make sure you're hitting the link, the first link in our link tree. Let's move this around the panel, because I know that there's people that wanted to speak. Ty, it's on you. No Rats, it's on you. I still want to hear from Kristen.
Yeah, we haven't heard from Kristen in a while
That's what
either.
I was just about to say, Kristen Parker, and I still want to come back to Joe as well.
Do you want to start
Ty,
with me?
yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I wanna back the truck up a little bit, Joe, because you mentioned something in very vague terms, and I just want to make sure that we're calling a spade a spade. Are you trying to say that women are separated because we can't determine whether or not trans women are women?
No, that was just an example of that was just part of a thousand layers. That was one small speck on that was one piece of pepper, you know what I'm saying, in a pepper jar.
So you are saying that we can't determine whether or not trans women are women?
Are you not divided?
Trans women are women.
And to you, but I know women that says they're not.
And those women are TERFs.
But they're still women, and they still are entitled to their opinion. And again, that's a person who has the same organs you do.
Trans women can
You don't
have
know
the same
that.
organs we do too. I don't know what your point is.
They can give birth.
There are
I'll wait.
cisgender women that can't give birth. What's your point?
But can any women give birth? Can any non-transgender? Can any trans women give birth? Any?
Yeah.
No.
There are trans women that can't give birth.
No.
Yes, there are.
Why is that funny, bro?
Tell me that you don't know biology without telling me you don't know
So
biology.
a born male
We're
who
talking.
a born male conceived a child.
You know that there are intersex people, right?
So you're telling me a born male conceived a child?
I'm saying that somebody that is born with male genitalia, yes, can in fact have a pregnancy. Yeah. Welcome
When?
to science.
When?
It has happened, and instead of asking when, maybe you should do research instead of talking about things you clearly don't know about. Google is readily available.
Again, that's my perception. But
PubMed does
again, that's my
PubMed
perception.
does exist.
Okay,
Yeah,
real quick.
PubMed does exist.
Real
So
quick,
you
real
can
quick.
go
Okay,
to the
so
website and you can read about
I'm
it.
going to stay with my knowledge until I read that. But to my point, it's just my perspective of watching women. It's not how I personally feel. It's how I feel based on what I view.
He
Right?
just said he's going to stay ignorant until he gets around to it.
No, I'm not.
I just
No,
think
I'm
it's
not
funny that
personally.
you're on here
I'm not
talking for the
personally.
entirety of womanhood, saying that we're all separated and stuff like this. Like, don't you think that to some degree, if there is separation in women, it's because of men like you? Because
Not
you're
men
on
like
here
me.
trying to talk
Not-
about all the things that divide us
No,
instead
I'm-
of talking about all the things that keep women together.
So the same way you generalized me based on what I see from my perspectives and tried to tie me into being like every man that comes on this panel and bashes women, that's not me.
At what point did I generalize you?
No,
I never
well,
said
you
that.
did. You said men like me.
No, I'm saying that you are on this panel doing the things that you're doing, and that there are men who will like you come on the same panels doing the same exact thing that you're doing. I'm not generalizing you, honey. You already did that on this panel.
No. What I'm
And
saying.
also in the conversation, you're stating the only people that are talking about this and the loudest voices about this, speaking above the women, are men. And that should also tell you something. When at the helm of this conversation about women and what it is that women see and what women accept and what women perceive are men, therein lies the problem. Again, stop speaking about things you don't know about. Do the research and then come back to these conversations. And most importantly, stop speaking over women, which is what is happening in this conversation, as per usual.
So in response to that, I didn't speak over her. We were having a conversation, and she asked a
I'm not
question.
talking about this
Just
conversation.
take
I'm
the
talking about
correction.
the generalized topic
Also,
of what you were saying.
while we're on it, my pronouns are not she, her.
No, Rads, you've been wanting to say something.
I mean, I just, saying that women are divided because of women is false. If you want to talk about abortion wasn't like a voter issue until the Southern Baptist Convention, which led by men. And then also, talking about trans women not being women, they are very much women. They're very much women, just as you are a man, and you say you are a man, and you are a man. Like, it's not hard. But when we have men that you follow, like the Champ and Charlie Kirk, who spread this shit out of hate and fear of missing out, of being seen less than, they find something else for you to make an issue. And when you make it an issue and women listen to this shit and feel all their internalized misogyny feelings, it becomes an issue. They're not actual issues. They're fake bullshit that you guys rage farm with. And I can say you guys, because you do, in fact, on your following list, follow people who spread this shit. And you are up here with your whole chest
And I also
saying
follow
it.
people like Parker, and I also follow.
But you
people
are not speaking, and you are not saying the things that Parker and Dean and Harry say. You are word vomiting the shit that Charlie Kirk says. You are word vomiting the shit that Nick Fuentes says.
But
So
saying
you
I'm
can
not
follow
like
who
them,
you
I
want.
follow a mediocre cis-het white man. Like, to learn about feminism
You
or
heard
stuff like that.
Candace.
Like, what?
No, I just like to hear people argue, so I watch both
You
sides.
heard Candace Owens speak and you ran with it thinking she spoke for all women. That was your mistake.
Thank you
No,
for the Venmo, Alexandra.
that's not my mistake. It's my assumption based on what I see, and I follow
And
both
again, your
sides. Excuse
assumption
me,
was
real
the
quick.
mistake.
You asked me not to interrupt, ma'am. I'll ask you please not do the same. I'll be brief. She asked me about following those people. Yes, you can ask Santana. We've had these conversations. I'm not.
Don't bring me into this.
But we not had how
I don't
many
know.
conversations?
I
Hold
don't
on.
know you.
Don't do
Threw you
that.
under the bus so
I
quick.
know.
What I'm
Joe.
Don't bring my
W.
brother.
Pickles
Don't
raid.
bring my brother. Period. Point blank. I know we not related, but don't bring my brother up in this situation.
Welcome in,
Period.
Pickles
Point blank.
Raid.
So the thing is, like, Joe, and please respect this when I say it. You did vote for Donald Trump, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so birds of a feather flock together. Many people who have opposing viewpoints from mine follow me. They hate follow me.
No.
Yeah, they do.
I'm
They
saying
do.
no, that's not
And,
right.
and
I'm not
evidence
saying-
of that
I'm
in
not
this
saying- I'm saying
panel
no,
here
that's not right.
tonight, the
That's
men
it.
who have come up here, who are like the inceliest of the incels, most of them follow me. They hate follow me so that they could come up here and misbehave.
Well, I
Word,
like to
majority
hear
of
different
block
people's
list is
perspectives.
men that have hate followed me for sure.
I like to hear different people's perspectives. I like to hear what people are saying. I like to hear everyone's different views. You know what I'm saying? The reason I voted the way I voted, I've talked about 1,000 times. I've heard different perspectives of it. That's how I met Santana. That's how I came on this show, and he gave me a bunch of information, and I used it. And
Great. So, but here's the thing. When you follow those people to hear opposing views and you give them views, you push them and their hateful ideas right back out into the sphere, right back out for more people to see. Because the way social media works and the way algorithm works is the more people who view content and interact with content, the more people will get to see it. So if you don't believe those things and you don't side with those things and those aren't your ideals, stop following them. Stop boosting their engagement. Because they're full of shit. So stop spreading the shit. There's something that I like to say. I could shit in your mouth and you'd call it breakfast.
No, Raz, this is late nights, not sparring.
Well, I mean, I'm being honest here.
Hey, Reds, can I just say something? I'm going to say this once and for all. Hi, my name is J Hood. All my friends and family calls me. My real name is Jennifer. My pronouns are she, her. For me, as a 19-year-old who just turned 19-year-old a month ago, happy belated birthday to me. Anyway, Joseph, all due respect, thank you. Me as a person who is a woman, but I have a deep voice. Me as a kid, you don't understand what women go through. Number one. Women go through everything, but women don't hate women. I fight with my sister, my little sister. My little sister is 14. Siblings fight. We're both young ladies. We're both young women. Siblings fight, especially girls. They fight over things. Seriously, but I love my little sister to this day. I don't want nothing to happen to her. I don't want nothing to happen to. But it's yourself. It shows you that you're a man. I kind of get it. I understand. But you can't, based off genetics, and you can't tell somebody what they can and cannot do. Women don't fight each other necessarily. They don't hate each other. They just fight for no reason, and it can be petty. But at the end of the day, women love each other. Okay, they might have different differences and different beliefs, but they still love each other. How are you going to come onto somebody's live and saying that women don't love each other? 9 times out of 10, women do love each other. You don't know what women go through. You're a man, and by genetically, women can't. Some trans women can get pregnant. Like, for instance, trans men can get pregnant because they were born a woman. They still have a uterus. Don't forget that.
But that makes them a woman. But yeah, okay, we're not gonna get into semantics. I don't want to get into semantics.
You don't understand. Okay, let me finish talking. I try to not interrupt you. I'm trying to be respectful.
Yes, ma'am.
When I was taught, I'm a respectful person. I was born in the South. Period. Point blank. I know that you don't like women. I'm sorry. I'm being honest with you. You probably don't like women. I'm sorry for your mom, and I'm sorry for this is going on. But it's just that. How does your mom feel how you're behaving? And I have a question to you. Can you please name one policy that has your president-elect has done, and what has he done for you? That's my question to you.
VA Missions Act.
Okay, I'm gonna just say this. Did he save you from COVID-19? Yes or no?
You told
Be
me
honest.
that one. Nobody. I don't believe in COVID-19. I don't believe in
sorry.
COVID-19. I'm sorry.
Just real quick, what act did you say?
VA Missions Act.
Also,
okay, I'll come back to
I
it.
couldn't get off mute fast enough, but C19, everyone, TikTok friendly language, C19. I'm gonna go back on mute, and I want to hear from Kristen as well. I'll just throw that out because we haven't got a chance to hear from Kristen and Parker's. So, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back on mute.
May I speak to the VA thing? I have some questions for him.
Mm-hmm.
So what did the VA Missions Act specifically do for women?
The same thing it did for men. The right to seek outside
You ran
of
straight into the point, friend.
No, what I'm saying is it gave. There's no bill that I know that specifically in the VA is targeted towards just women because I wouldn't know that. Like I know that they're doing IVFs. I know they're doing things like that. I know there's grants, things like that, but I don't know specifically a bill that was passed by any president at the VA level for just women. Sorry, I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna just say this based on politics. You don't know what goes on in the news. You probably do, but you probably reading articles off Fox News. You probably
Everyone, I don't want to be
Nick
rude,
Francis.
but like Kristen's been waiting, and Santana keeps saying like Kristen's gonna be next. Kristen's gonna be next. So
I'm
like,
sorry.
No. Like you're good. I had to cut somebody.
Well, thank you guys.
Sorry, Kristen.
No, you're so good. I think intersectionality matters in these spaces, and I'm happy to cede less time because other people have voices that need to come forward. I think a fundamental issue that you even can experience in such a civilized life here is men that have to already be familiar and trusting of Santana, who's in the power position. When we look at a hegemonic power structure, and we have all these beautiful, smart, intelligent, worldly women, and we have a panel specifically dedicated to talk about accomplishments, things that are going on with women. And men come into this space and they immediately occupy and man spread so much time, so much energy, so many resources that we have, instead of even asking us questions about feminism, because you just make assumptions and come in here to state your points without doing any real research or foundational information. Like I have a master's degree in communication studies and rhetorical analysis of social protest theory. I have way more men who come on my AB videos just to comment that like I got things for my looks, rather than to ever ask me a question about AB or policy. And I think a lot of us experience that in lots of different intersectional ways. But you, sir, came up here, centered yourself, and because you're the op, we're going to, of course, want to engage with you. But you spent a lot of time referencing Santana to talk for you. You spent a lot of time kind of pointing to the 1.6 million trans individuals who, yeah, you guys have, men in the patriarchy have categorized and separated all of these different little communities. And it's not us, by the way, competing with each other or bullying each other, being cruel to each other. Sure, white women are the men of women, absolutely. But when you restrict rights over years and years, when you put us in these fundamental gender roles from very early childhood, when you decide that we don't need certain opportunities, when we don't need certain education, and then you put legislation and separate all the states to make all of us unequal, yeah, we're going to have some infighting, because that's what that is designed to do. You have the fucking privilege, pardon my French, but you have the privilege of not having any of these challenges to your healthcare with medical misogyny. You don't have any issues with your gender wage gap situation. You don't have issues of even trying to get a hysterectomy and not being able to get one. So sincerely, get bent if you think it's women infighting, because we have been enduring community kinds of processes for eons. And yeah, there's some kinks we need to work out, but it's definitely men who are setting up this little procedure and pretending and gaslighting and acting like we're the ones who are at fault, and we're not.
Can I respond?
Period. I wish you wouldn't. I wish you'd get a muzzle.
So real quick, I agree with everything you said.
Cool.
But just hear me out. My perspective is only from my viewing. I don't hate any male, female in this world, trans. I don't care about any of that. I like to hear what people think, how they think.
If you didn't care about that, you wouldn't have
Real
put
quick,
it
real
as an
quick,
issue.
You're just talking about yourself again, sir. Like,
Well, okay, but what I'm saying is I can only speak for me. I can't speak for all men. I can't do that. I agree with everything what you said is wrong, 100% wrong. That's all I'm saying. Everything you said is wrong. But from my viewpoint, when I watch a division, and Buzzy broke it down to me. Buzzy broke it down how she felt about how men have oppressed women. And so my question to you is, my response and my question is, you know how I feel. So my question is, what changes have to happen, right? Not just from a political standpoint, but inside of the women circle, right? What things do you want to see
You need
from?
to stop looking at us as the people to make the changes and start looking inward to yourselves. You need to start having empathy. You need to start reading books. You need to look up scholars. You need to stop relying on us to do your homework for you. The fact that you've been so privileged to not have to even worry about any of this, and that you can come up here and ask us who have had years and years of research on this, is infuriating on its own. And I'm not going to be kind about it anymore, because women are dying now, and they always have been, but we're getting worse progressively. And instead of focusing on hypercapitalism and corporatism and fighting fascism, women once again are being put in these little sectors, and we're forced to babysit y'all while you abuse us at the same time. And I don't appreciate it.
I agree with Kristen. I
The
agree with
prior,
her.
the prior
I
4
agree
years, were you leading towards the direction
Are you serious?
and what you wanted to be?
Serious right now? Like, did you intake anything I actually said?
Yeah, I just asked the
You should be
question.
mad. You should be taking notes, and you should be mad.
I'm listening. I'm analyzing everything
You're
you're saying.
clearly not listening because earlier you were told to do research and to stop talking about things you don't know about. You were also told that you making assumptions is part of the problem and you tried to argue with me rather than taking that in. And even now that Kristen has reiterated this, told you her knowledge base, broke it down for you once again, you still came back to you and your perspective without taking the time to do the research. Even though you were told in this very conversation that while you are sitting here, Google is readily available. If you want to know if the things that we're saying are true or rooted in any sort of statistical fact, you could pull up Google. Hell, you could even throw a lifeline. You could ask Santana, like, hey, you're in front of a computer screen right now. Could you Google XYZ and tell me what it says? You have a relationship with him. You're willing to listen to him more than you're willing to listen to the people that are engaging with you and trying to educate you. You have a lifeline that is man just like you right above your head, and you could ask him for that favor, but you are choosing to be you, and that's where the problem is.
And you could do us all a favor and follow each one of us because we do this all day, every day. And instead of making us repeat ourselves, that's really great. It's also Parker's turn for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna just say this, all due respect, Joseph. You follow everybody who cares about women, but you have the nerve to vote for the president-elect. How crazy can you be? How stupid can you be? All these people are not gaslighting. People are not lying. People are telling you to research, but you're dodging the bullet like you're a Matrix. You're thinking you're taking the bullet, but you're not. You can't fight fire with fire. Blood is thicker than water. These ladies on this panel, including myself, has told you to go do the research. If you don't, you probably didn't finish high school. You probably don't even know what genetics is. You're laughing, but it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Because I don't want to keep. I want to make sure that we have balance on the panel. We can also continue to speak, and I know Parker was next, so I do want to make sure we get to Parker's. And Ty hasn't said anything in a while. I do want to let Joe be able to speak, but Alina, this is your panel. No rads.
Well,
like
I don't.
You guys got it.
I don't want to give him the grace. I know Jennifer, right?
Sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So how you said how you reiterated how he said that he follows all these people who care about women, but all he mentioned was Parker. And I just checked; he doesn't follow me. And I've been on this app doing debates and conversations like this longer than Parker has. So I think you should probably think about that.
I've been in your lives before.
You've been in my lives and you didn't follow me. Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because you don't like to hear the hard truth from women.
No. I ain't gonna lie to you. I can be honest. Listen.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm making an observation, and you need to stay quiet and listen and take it and process it.
Yes, ma'am.
Parker's turn.
Yeah. Before I get into mine, I do want to remind everyone that those adorable little mews are coming from kittens that Alina is taking care of, and she's involved with the rescue that is supporting with many other little kittens. So if you have not already donated, do so as soon as possible. $1, $2, all of it makes a difference. Also, check out her Amazon wish list that is related to all the little happy critters. They deserve nice things, especially for the coming winter, even if, Florida doesn't really have one. Still. I'm in Texas, I shouldn't talk. So you, official Joe, essentially said that women hating women is a major issue going on. And I sat on this, and everyone touched on it in different ways. My background is my bachelor's is in English and psychology, and then my master's is also now in clinical mental health. So I have a heavy value on words, especially as we use them and how we affect our society around us and how our society affects our words. So I'm going to say this as concisely as possible. Toxic patriarchy isn't rooted in women inherently hating women. It's in a societal system that devalues anything perceived as feminine, including women themselves. This system conditions women to prioritize and center for men, resources, status, while often framing other women as competition. That is what you were thinking of, I am presuming, from everything that you have said so far. As a result, women may internalize, and many YT women do, because it goes hand in hand with their white identity. They internalize these values and distance themselves from one another, not out of inherent animosity, but because they're navigating a framework that rewards aligning with male-centric ideas and diminishes solidarity among women. That is why we commonly have to deconstruct this. That's why we are having these conversations. Women do not inherently hate or want to fight other women. It is because everyone is taught, using the very language within this society, that women must be in competition with each other, when that is not the truth. But we use words that demean and devalue very commonly identified anything feminine. Painting your nails is obviously commonly devalued. Every male host, every dude host that I see that has painted nails triggers the crap out of some lovely individuals, both in the chat and that come up, and then the first thing that they do is attack their nails, which is wild. They attacked anything of beauty standards. We, even in passing, we joke about, if you order like a white chocolate mocha or a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks, you must be a basic bitch, because that's a thing that makes women happy. Therefore, it must be valued less than. We do this all the time. To the point that, yes, it does instigate a sort of made-up competition, and then it takes the lens and the centricity, it takes all of the pressure off of what is actually happening to women, to us politically, to us economically, to our healthcare, to all of the intersectional issues that we face within our communities. And it just goes, oh, well, then they deserve it because they're doing it to themselves. And that's not true. And that is the whole gaslighting feature that Kristen was touching on. And that is why she gets comments all the time about her looks on videos that have much more value and important information being disseminated. But it doesn't matter, because she is not just femme presenting, but a very traditional femme presenting that would appeal to, look at her perk up, to an audience that would typically love to devalue and objectify her. But instead, she has a brain and she is using it, and how dare she? You did the same thing. You did what I am talking about by then immediately brushing her off. You said, no, I disagree with everything you've said, because you weren't really listening. You aren't really sitting with it. You were listening and looking at her face, which is a lovely face to look at, by the way. But you were using it as if it were an excuse.
Parkers, if you don't stop right now, I'm going to give you so many spankings.
You were using it as an excuse.
Can I also just say, like, I'm used to being the prettiest one up here. Like, I am, with everybody that's on camera at the complete bottom. You all you ladies are absolutely lovely. So there is that.
This is true, and you should smile more, Santana.
I should smile more. I've been told that.
But Parker, sorry, go ahead.
Like, just one last note was that you then, Official Joe, you derailed and belittled and devalued everything Kristen said and everything Buzzy said. And they said amazing points, very patiently, very concisely. And you said that they were just expressing their feelings, and that's not true. They were expressing actual, valid, researched points that they would tie in a little bit with their anecdotal evidence. Because, as an example, here is my real life thing, because we're talking about a subject that has to do with us and not you. And yet your response was always, well, you just talked about your feelings, and my perspective is what matters. And that's not what this is, and that's not how this works. That's all.
Can I say one thing and then I'll leave, and ladies, just hear me out, and then I promise I'll
Please, Parkers, for 1 second, because I forget that you're a rhetorician and you're so fucking brilliant and you're in the chat all the time. Thank you for being you, bringing up Toxic Masculinity by Charlotte Bliss. You should write that down, sir. And also just understanding that we are fundamentally supposed to be the ones who are softening the blows, being the sponges for society, and trying to keep a cohesive nature, which is why sometimes we fold into things that are bad for us. Thank you, Parkers, for being brilliant. And damn it, Joe, fine.
Yeah, and Joe, let me just say this real quick. I mean, and this is just an FYI for everybody. I forgot to start the 30-minute clock on time, but we have 30 minutes until the top of the hour, and that's when we're going to wrap this topic up for the night. But we do have this topic again tomorrow night. This is going to be the last night, so we can actually do this. Joe, I would actually like it. I mean, I don't know if you have to go. If you have to go, I understand. But, I feel like this is beneficial, and I'm learning a lot. I feel like the chat's learning a lot. Like you and I have had multiple conversations, and if you got to leave, you got to leave. But I think this is actually good for you. So, I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
I mean, like I told you before, you know, I'm kind of new to TikTok, and I started following all these people when I got, you know, your live was one of my first times ever being on TikTok. But I don't want to drift down that rabbit hole. Ladies, I want to ask a question. Alina, I hope I said that right, brought up a point, and I said, yes, I agree. And it wasn't to be disingenuous. It's just that from the beginning of time, since we've had a constitution, women have been pushed to the back burner, white supremacy, all that stuff that she pointed. That's facts. So my question is how do we eradicate all that to move forward? Like, what's the step? I'm willing. I get it. I'm not the most educated. Real quick, I'm almost done. I'm not the most educated man in the world, but I'm willing to try to be, to learn. I'm willing to listen. And y'all views, y'all are women, so I'm gonna listen to what y'all have to say. Like I said, all I can go off is my perception, and it's not always the right perception. It's just my perception until I get a better viewpoint.
Okay. Well, the easiest thing to do would be do exactly what you said, which is listen to women. So, you should have listened to women and not voted for a rapist. That's it. That's all.
I agree.
I mean, really going forward, when we're having these kinds of conversations, if you really genuinely do care about women and the things that we're saying, then the first thing you should do is not join the panel. You should stay in the comments and listen. And then, when conversations do happen that men are included in, or men's opinions are asked for, whatever the women say, you make sure that you're educated on that, and that's when you speak. And you say, no, you're being toxic. No, you're being misogynistic to the men who are doing these things to us. If you are truly on our side, you will listen to the things that we're saying and you'll back us up. But don't speak unless you understand what you're speaking on.
Hey,
Can I give him a tiny assignment real quick?
Well, hold on. I just want to double down on something NoRaz just said. NoRaz, can you explain to him why you said don't join the panel? Because I think that might have, no offense, but that might have went over his head, and I get that. But can you explain that, why you said that?
I mean, it's taking away from women's voices and us having these important discussions, because much like this exact conversation, we are not talking about the issues that matter to us. We've spent all of this time trying to educate Joe. Like, it's taking away from the greater message when we have to discuss transphobia, when we have to discuss misogyny and like kid glove it takes away from us actually talking about what we need to see changed, how we want to see it changed, and what we can do together as women to change these things, and get men on board with us. Like, we shouldn't have to sit here and babysit. Kirsten said it. We're babysitting.
Yeah. They barge in and expect all the attention, and then we don't get to even focus on us, which is always what happens. I do have one tiny assignment that I'm hoping, Joe, that you will take sincerely and remember and maybe jot down. It's very small, but since you're not on TikTok, and I'm guessing you're watching some of these lives with like Santana and Alina and NoRads, if you could try to pay attention to a couple things when people join lives. Number one would be, do men stay on mute or ever mute themselves versus women? And then I would also ask you to listen for language, like when we're talking about men and women, how many times you hear someone say men or man, and then instead of using the counter, which would be woman or women, you'll hear them say girls. You're going to hear them say females. You're going to hear them also argue if anyone pushes back on that. Even now, we've started to see that they refuse to use the plural version of women. So they're just saying men and women, and see if that gets under your skin after a while, if it feels dehumanizing at all, because they refuse to acknowledge that we're even on the same level, rhetorically speaking. And if you don't want to do that assignment, that's fine. But I do think it'll really help you understand how we're feeling when we are constantly diminished, even in just one tiny fundamental thing, which is just language, which is important.
I would like to cut in here if I may. Joe, I just want to let you know that I don't know if you've ever watched like movies about teenage girls or about womanhood, girlhood, whatever you want to call it, with adults, with teenagers, all of the above. But in spaces where men aren't, women are not against each other. When you're in a women's bathroom, if you call out for a tampon, there's probably somebody in that bathroom carrying a tampon just in case that exact situation is occurring. If you go to a bar in the middle of the night and you've got drunk girls in the bathroom having a hard time, who's going to help that girl? Like other women in the bathroom. And it's not even usually just her friends. Sometimes it's strangers. Women don't have it out for each other inherently. So trying to make it sound like women have it out for each other inherently is crazy, because generally women help women. Whenever men aren't there to affect the room that they're in, women help women. Strange women and familiar women, we help women. And I'm talking even about women who even people who don't identify as women, but who have had the experiences of women in the past. We support each other. And that's just the way that it is. And so trying to say that women are separated, we're not. It's just when men are in the room separating us.
To answer your question, Joe, without kid gloves for a minute, for something to change in this system, it's going to take men to have an ego death. Men are going to have to be willing to come off of their pedestal and acknowledge that the hamster wheel of patriarchy they have put themselves on when fighting to be the better man in front of other men has failed them. When men realize that it is their own insecurities that keep the suffering of society, then something will change. Until that ego death occurs, things are going to continue to be the same. And even in this conversation, your first go-to was to blame women for the suffering of women. So for something to change, it is going to take an ego death. It's going to take listening to the multitude of what women are saying instead of listening to the one woman that allows you to pat yourself on the back and running that for everything it's worth. It's that saying that if you give them an inch, they'll take 57 miles. When there are 57 voices talking and you only hone in on the one that makes you sleep well at night, therein lies the problem. If something is going to change, men are going to have to stop thinking that they are the center of the universe. They are going to have to stop assuming that they are the best fit to lead. And let's play this game of consider it. If you truly cared about women in the way that you claimed to have when you came in here, would you blame women for their own suffering? If you truly cared about women in the way that you claimed to when you came in here on this panel, would you have voted for a man who has been found liable of assaulting a woman and owes that same woman millions of dollars, not only for harming her, but continuously defaming her? Would you have voted for a man who didn't know when to close his mouth and refused to apologize to the women he has hurt, the children he has disrespected that have had to sue him for showing up in their dressing rooms when they were undressed, taking videos and photos of them, making them pose with him because, quote unquote, it was his pageant? If you cared about women, the president-elect wouldn't be the president-elect.
Exactly, because you take a 34 count felon You rather take a 34 count felon. You rather take a narcissist, a grape. You take all these people, but if it was somebody else, for instance, Barack Obama, President Joe Biden, all the Democrats, they would be put in jail. They would be doing this. But my thing is, Trump supporters are brainwashed. They can't handle the fire. They can't handle the heat. They say things. They say they agree with you. But how are you following all these people who are Democrats or liberals who care about their lives and care about women? But you're a Republican who is still stuck between Republican and Democrat. I think he wants to be a Democrat. It's just that he doesn't want to do his research. For people who are in the chat who are Trump supporters and come to attack women for their political views and choose what they want to choose, I respect everybody's opinion. But when you go to Trump's and you're comparing your source, like I asked him, like, did he save you from C-19? He didn't answer my question because it was an automatically no. You had to let the former vice president of the United States of 2008 and 2012 step in and help us save us from the C-19 and all these other stuff that was going on in America. But you couldn't answer that. That's what I don't like. You're a Trump supporter. Okay, big deal. But you had to answer these questions. When women ask you these questions, you had to be responsible. Because you can't be putting fire with fire. Me as a person that is a liberal, a person that is a Democrat, like if I get mad at a Trump supporter, I'm not. I enrage. But you're not going to disrespect women in general. It's like women hate each other. Women don't hate each other. Okay, we might fight each other. We might have siblings that we fight over petty things. But in reality, we love each other no matter what. We might have two different political values and things, but we still love each other till this day. We might not get on a one accord. We might can't do a sit down video together. But in reality, in our minds, we're still human. We're still women. We're still going through things. Men don't understand that women go through a lot of stuff as women, as men. If we were in men's shoes, we don't have to go through people misjudging us or misleading us or doing all this type of stuff. And then you take news archers and some of the women are saying that, oh, Vice President Kamala Harris slept her way to the top. If she slept her way to the top, it would be more women in office running for senator, governor, mayor, or judges. But no, we didn't sleep our way to the top. Period, point blank. But I just don't like when people like Joseph, you follow all these liberals, but you're a Trump supporter. So get to my understanding. If you don't want...
I've got to go, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt.
Bye, Kristen. Love you.
Love you guys.
You're hot.
So the reason. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe. Real quick, and then I want to read a couple of things off, and then get us in the right spot. But go ahead, Joe.
The reason I didn't respond to the C-19 thing wasn't to be disrespectful to your question. I just didn't want to go down a rabbit hole of policies and procedures and all these things when the topic at hand was Trump, America hates women. And then maybe I used the wrong word by saying women hate women. But what I was trying to say is women are separated, and maybe hate was the wrong word to use to say that. I just based it off of what he wrote on the little screen picture he's got behind him. So the reason I don't respond to C-19 is because I just didn't want to go down a rabbit hole. The reason I voted for Trump is completely has nothing to do with a lot of the things that have been talked about.
But
so I just didn't want to go down that rabbit hole.
The point was that it should have been one of the reasons why you didn't vote for Trump. It should have mattered enough women should have mattered enough. Our health, our safety, our futures, our existence, not just our uterus, not just anything else. The point is, it should have been enough. Because I know that especially a lot of the men that we've been talking to on these debates over the last few months have been very much, well, I voted for me. I voted for my wallet. I went, A, you didn't. Your wallet's not going to feel better. And B, you're not supposed to be voting for you. You're supposed to be voting for your community, for everyone. Sorry, go ahead, Rads. I like the
I know, Santana, you have announcements you want to do.
Go
I just want to point out that the actual topic this evening was equality doesn't exist.
I wasn't here for that.
Yeah.
But my thing is on Joseph Tate.
Hold on one second. Let me do this because again, I want to spread it around and I want to read these off real quick. W's in the chat for Corey. Corey sent a $2 donation. I know how you feel about those numbers, Corey. Thank you so much, Corey. W's in the chat for Vanessa, who sent a $10 donation for dismantling the patriarch and kittens. And W's in the chat for Joe, who is up on the panel, who sent a $5 donation, says, for letting me get some knowledge. Joe, I really hope that you are taking in that knowledge. So hopefully it's more than that. So guys, there's $170 left in the nightly donation goal. There's 700 people here, so we could definitely take that out if 170 people actually send to the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Also, Alina, please make sure we're taking care of Alina because she is here on the panel laboring, and she is also raising money for she's doing, hold on, I didn't grab my paper. Here it is. I thought I could memorize it, but I couldn't. She's doing a food and supply drive for unhoused people and people in lower income with pets. So let's make sure that we are donating to her, and also she has a pay link to her Amazon wish list that is in the link tree in her bio. And Alina, do you have any W's that you want to call out?
I do have a dollar donation from Jade for calling out these boys, BS and the kitty. And Kimberly sent a $10 donation. They said that they're caring for their Shiba who had surgery right now, and said, "I love you, Kimberly. I hope your dog heals perfectly well."
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So this is what I kind of want to do, and for the women on the panel, if you guys don't mind, right? I'm gonna ask you guys to labor one more time, right? So the one thing that I will say about Joe is he is somewhat receptive overall, right? He's definitely somewhat receptive overall. But I think that, we all have those inherent isms, right? I mean, he's a man, I'm a man, we're inherently sexist. And I think you guys are leading him, right? And I really like what NORAD said as far as like the perspective on what he should have done. But I guess just kind of opening up to everybody and not just speaking directly to Joe, but speaking to him and speaking to the panel as well. Like, men as a whole. Like, I guess trying to actually dismantle the patriarch and trying to get to a better place like hearing women and protecting women. Like, what advice or what steps or just like what can be done? I'm going to open up to the floor to you guys, and I just want you, wherever direction you want to take it, and I'll start with Alina, and then, NORAD's, Parker's, you guys give it to us.
Doubling down on what NORAD's had said earlier, which is also kind of what I said to the guest that was on our side, but kind of centering themselves. Listening to women, following women creators. I talk about it a lot in my lives, how, we talk about uplifting marginalized voices, but like how many of us, not me, but how many of us spend our times in white men, cis het white men's lives, and you see it in the numbers. There's like 7,000 people in there all the time. So if you want to truly do the work and truly uplift marginalized voices, then you need to spend the time there. You need to curate your algorithm, because the algorithm is always going to lean towards white supremacy and the patriarchy. Additionally, Kristen pointed it out. I wasn't going to say anything, but Kristen also noticed it. But you sent money to Santana and thanked him for letting you learn. You didn't. You didn't send money to me. You didn't send money to any of the women on the panel. So again, you are deferring.
I don't know how to click on. No, it wasn't
You're
that.
deferring.
I
Yeah, but
promise
you could have sent it to
money
him. No, but you
I
could have
was.
sent it to him and said,
He's already
okay.
on my Cash App. I'd have to click off, and I thought it'd kick me off. I know if I go to Cash App.
But you
I
could have
promise
also
you,
just put it in the
it's not
note that you were going to send it. Like,
Hey, look, I
should-
got you. I promise you, I will. I promise you, I'll send something. It's not.
I don't-
It
like,
wasn't intentional.
Okay, but I'm pointing out, and like you're pushing back here. Like I'm pointing out, like you could have also just put it in the note or whatever, give it to Lena or whatever. Regardless, just the way that it looks, not just you might come through, but the 624 people here are not going to see that. They're not going to see the after fact of like maybe you send me something later or whatever. So just those little things. I'm just pointing out, like you're thanking a man for the labor that the women have done in this panel.
Because I've been chilling.
So, I mean, just stuff like that. But yeah, and who else wants to go next? It's fine.
Hot take, maybe. I support women's rights and I support women's wrongs. But what I don't support is not calling women in. When women are actively engaging in behavior that harms other women, I'm not saying you have to say shit publicly, but if you're not saying shit privately either, you're wrong. You're wrong. There's a lot of people who don't understand the things that they're saying and how they're harmful to other women. And while we don't want to spend our time educating men, it is important that we do educate other women because these things are impacting them and they may not see them because, as we see all the time, people don't see farther than their face, right? And if we are not having conversations, especially white women, because white women, when we look at the demographics of the last election, if we are not spending the time talking to white women, I'm white, I'm Latina, okay? But if we don't spend the time talking to the people who voted this way and show them, doesn't have to be publicly, but should definitely be privately, show them why they're harming marginalized communities, the gay community, the LGBTQI plus communities, specifically the trans community, when we're not talking about how their behaviors and the things that they say outward are hurting immigrants, because all of that stuff, the intersectionality there is so fucking important. So we can support women's rights and we can support women's wrongs, but if we say nothing about the wrongs, all we're doing is allowing it to continue. That's I don't know. That's, I guess, my hot take.
Stuff. Parker's?
No, that's disrespectfully really hot. Sorry, that's all I got right now. Everything else just wiped. But yeah, like hold yourselves accountable, hold each other accountable. You are in charge of your own education. There have been so many weird dudes.
So many.
There have been so many weird dudes. But there was a weird dude in one of the chats recently who, because I was using my mod voice, and it was very cute because it was not my space, I was just moderating it, and he said something transphobic, and I went, hey, this is what you mean. Like, this is how you educate yourself. Every day is a new day. And he went, are you saying I'm uneducated? And I said, I'm saying that education isn't just academic. It's not just formal. You should still be learning every day. You can do that through research purposes. That's why the internet is free. That's why books are at the library. That's why we're big proponents about the exchange of knowledge and ideas and words, and understanding those words and using them correctly. And he didn't know what to do with that. But I really, educate yourself. Don't rely on someone else to do your homework for you. Yeah, you can find spaces that are educational that you can listen in on. Alina's is great. Erica Shantae's is great. Mr. Jones's is great. Jessica Simone's is great. Any
No
time,
rats.
truly. I was like, if you can find
When I'm not banned.
that's the thing about no rats is like the incels hate you so much.
But I love it. It feeds my demonic little soul.
It is a lot of fun. But if you can specifically find creators that are already putting in the work, that are already going live regularly or posting videos that are intersectionally based, then you can find so much more out about the language, about the ideas beyond your own nose that you haven't really been privy to before.
Thank you.
I guess that would be my thing too. I guess to kind of
Like piggyback off what you said, like I'm just going to like I totally agree with everybody on this panel. Like your education matters. Like if you don't know something, there's always research. If you can't find it in the library or find it in a book, there's always Google, there's always Safari, there's always Firefox, there's always these browsers that you can research on it. You just don't. Like when I was thinking about this election, I was thinking about my mom. Like what could my mom could have done? Like me growing up. Like I did not know too much. Well, I'm studying history, so and my background is education. And when I say education, I mean like my friends are like people are asking me saying, who did you vote for? I said I voted for Kamala Harris, the one I'm educated. I'm a college student. And I take people's perspective and I take people's comments, I say all due respect because I have been disrespectful today. This guy named Stocks Gorilla, I know y'all heard of him, this curator on TikTok. And he's a Trump supporter, and I just gave him my perspective on, like, how do you know this stuff is going on? Like, do you not know your taxes? He's saying, oh, the gas prices are, inflation is caused by Democrats, and it's President Joe Biden's fault. I said, necessarily. Groceries were already high in 2020. It was the point in time because inflation causes taxes. Your 15 and 25% is going to roadside workers, it's going to construction people, it's going to anywhere and anywhere possible. But my thing is, I was called out my name. I was called by the N-word today. So I was thinking to myself, first off, you're not going to call me out. No. I can't experience another hate crime. I just can't. But when people say, oh, why do you support women? Why do you love women so much? I think about my mom. Because if it wasn't for my mom loving women, loving me, or my siblings, I don't know who could I have been today. And I say my mom because I don't want to get emotional. But I lost my mom 5 years ago. It been rocky after road after road. People are asking me, like, why are you wearing that shirt? You're black. You are N-word and you don't care about women and you don't do this. You don't care about nothing. But I do care about women. I am a young woman to myself. And I thank God every day that I had to wake up. And I can wake up and I can praise him and go to church and I can do this. I don't support Trump's values, but at the end of the day, I forgive everybody on this panel, including Joseph. I didn't come and disrespect you. I just said that people out here don't take things seriously. If you're in a chat that's a Trump supporter, don't speak. Don't show up onto nobody's panel. And if you don't know what you're talking about, that's why there's a web browser right there in front of you. Like, hey, here's the list of things.
I don't want to. I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off. But we have 30 seconds left, and I do want to make sure that we get the last two panelists a chance to speak. I don't know if Santana was about to say that too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Jennifer, I hate to I don't want to cut you off, and because I know you were flowing, and I appreciate you so much. But I do want to make sure we give Ty and Buzzy an opportunity to speak, and we kind of put a bow on it because we are at the end, towards the end of the show.
Management will turn the lights off
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
turn this car around.
Absolutely. And I have some thank yous to read off and all this other stuff, but yeah, I'm sorry. Did you? Well, let's just go ahead and do this. Go ahead, Buzzy.
No, so I was going to just piggyback off of what Noraz said. I think that personally, I agree. I support women's rights and women's wrongs, but I also think that there are a lot of people that do not have conversations with their friends whenever they see them being harmful to other women, right? And there are things that can be addressed amongst women that don't require call out lives, that don't require being in people's comment sections being crazy, because the reality is that patriarchy has been so insidious. There are a lot of women that don't even realize that they're being harmful, and so what that takes is conversation and community that doesn't require smear campaigns and dragging people through the mud and hosting lives with people's faces as backgrounds. That's not what this is. This is community and talking and being willing to share the perspective to grow and move forward. Because the reality is that even if people do all those things, dragging women through the mud only feeds the patriarchal thought that this is somehow women's fault that we are here. It is going to continue to perpetuate the idea that women are at fault for the suffering of women when that was not the case. And there are tons of historical precedents that shows us this. And again, for this to be fixed, it is not women that have the power to fix this. The same thing that fixes this is the same thing that addresses and fixes the male loneliness epidemic, that addresses and fixes what's happening with the lack of acknowledgement in men's mental health, when the root cause of that is it's not that people are not having discussions and care about men's mental health. It's that men are not actively participating in their own mental health. The denial of service, the refusal to get treatment, the refusal to acknowledge that anything is wrong. And so, as stated earlier, for these circumstances to change, men are going to have an ego death. And that's going to require men being able to look themselves in the mirror and acknowledge that they have inflicted their own suffering, which has led to the suffering of others. I said it earlier, and I said it again, that society will continue to suffer at the hands of men's own insecurity unless men decide to be better men. We will continue to fall on the swords of men's insecurity. That will fail us, and I'm not the only person that has said this. Dr. King said it first.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Buzzy.
That was a great Buzzy. Yeah, so I do have a couple things that I would like to say. First things first, you asked about how you could educate yourself, how you could be better in these spaces and stuff. I just want to point out to you that every time you came off mute to talk to any of these lovely ladies, we gave you our full attention. And I noticed multiple times on multiple of the panelists that you spent a lot of your time teacupped, which means that you were listening to respond, not listening to learn. So in the future, I would encourage you to use active listening in order to actually learn from women. Additionally, whenever people are trying to tell you something about the way that women interact with each other, whether that be cisgender women, transgender women, all of the above, instead of laughing in their faces, you should listen and learn. because laughing in people's faces when they're trying to have a conversation with you is not conducive to a good conversation. You're going to end up getting yourself cut off. And so in the future, I would recommend, actively participating instead of using cop-outs. In addition to that, I think that I agree with NORADs. I think that in the first place, you should have thought twice about coming up onto the panel. So should that other gentleman that was on our side. He should have thought twice about coming up as well, despite the fact that I know that he was on our side, and that's great. He was centering himself in the conversation, and that's why all the women felt weird about it. And he wasn't reading the room whenever clearly all the women in the room felt weird about it. It's because this conversation was not about you. It was not about men. Notice how Santana's been here this whole time, and the only times he's interrupted was to thank his donors and to do the things that a good host is supposed to do, and to ask questions to further the conversation between the women on the panel. That's because Santana is actively listening and learning from the women on the panel. He's not listening to respond. And so, if you really want a good example of what it looks like to have a man who listens to women and to other marginalized communities, I recommend you watch more Santana and you try to emulate that, because that is what a good ally looks like. And I will land my plane on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna push back on that one. I am not the best example. I'm still learning a lot. I got a long way to go.
Can you just take the compliment?
Thank you, but no, like seriously, no. All jokes aside, there are way more better people to find an example than me, and I'm not even joking. I'm so serious.
Well, I'm talking about like cisgendered men. You hold space for these communities that you're not necessarily a part of, and you don't center yourself in the conversation. That makes you a good ally.
I appreciate it, but I defer to people like Jones. I mean, again, that's why every time he's live, I'm in his space to learn. So I would just say, yes, cool, but if you want to actually do more, I would reach out to the people who are far and ahead of
just take your compliment.
Yeah.
Just take your compliment. There's no.
Thank you.
Listen, there's.
I loved the sapphic love tonight.
There's nobody. There's no one, no other man on this app would have done what you did on Saturday for me. Like literally giving up the opportunity to make your own donations, make your own gifts, and just trying to get me across the finish line of Live Fest. Like, you have no idea that I will never forget that. That shit was unreal. And it made an impact, and it showed people what it's like to take a step back, because I know as men, and especially men in this political space, it's just a constant ego and high and all of that. So the fact that you did that and did that for so many hours and just really took a back seat just to try to help a friend out, I really appreciated it. And to me, that is what more men should be doing. There's men with much bigger platforms that could have really pushed us even further and chose not to. And I took note of the men that came onto that panel. And if you do notice, most, if not all, were from marginalized communities. So, yeah.
It was very much a selfless thing for you to do, Santana, and we noticed.
We're community.
We see you.
We're family, and I've said this a million times. I mean, it's our responsibility to take care of each other. So that's what.
Don't cut NORADs off. Let her give you some more praise.
He doesn't want any flowers. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. I feel.
Don't make me get management.
Take these flowers.
It feels weird. I don't like it.
No, you're a good friend. You're a good person, and we appreciate you. And we all have learning and growing to do. Nobody is the perfect ally or accomplice at all times. Even Jones, who I know very well. We all learn and grow every single day. But what you did for Alina was awesome. It was awesome, and we had a good time too.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
We did. Johnny had me dying.
Yeah, Johnny is awesome.
I was screaming.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I'll end with this, Joe. Just to keep it kind of simple, would you like to say thank you? I mean, that's. I mean,
Well, do
like,
you,
know.
I have some people I want to thank. Do you want me to do the thank yous and then we can end with Joe's statement,
No,
or
no, no, no,
how do you want to do it?
Then we're gonna let Joe go, and then we'll go
Okay.
from there. Yeah.
So, like NORAD's just said, every day is a chance to learn and grow, right? Like, so for me, that's what this is about, regardless of who I follow, what. Like I said, I like the feedback. It's horrible that this is even a subject, or that this is even something that's a reality, right? Like, that's number one. And maybe my verbiage when I came in here and said women hate women was the wrong verbiage to use. I was more going in the direction of the split amongst the decisions amongst everything. And I get that it's hard to have 100% unison on any topic. So thanks for your input, ladies. Thank you for everything y'all said. I do take note. And the reason I jumped up on here on this panel is because the last two dudes were just being disrespectful and yelling. And I was like, shit, I can at least have a calm conversation. So, the worst I could do, you know what I'm saying? And like, again, I'm not the most educated. I do appreciate y'all opinions. I appreciate y'all feedback. And I followed you guys, and, hey, I'm going to continue to jump in because I like to actually have a conversation. I'm auditory. I learn from having the conversation. Kinesthetic, I got to touch it. I got to touch the conversation. So I appreciate y'all. Appreciate the host. Alina, I did send the money to you. I just thought that it was
Don't
going
worry,
to
I'm
kick me
gonna
out.
thank you.
I'm
Don't
gonna
worry,
say,
I won't
I'm
let
just gonna say,
everyone
so
leave here today
I'm
without
new to
knowing that.
TikTok. I didn't know you could click on somebody else's link tree. I thought it'd kick you out the live, man. But hey, again, ladies, thank you. I'm gonna fall out. Appreciate it, Santana, and Parker's and Smokescreen, and to the other ladies that was in here. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, Joe.
Have a good night, Joe.
Okay, so let's do this real quick. Parker's, any last thoughts?
Yeah, but you're not gonna like it.
Go ahead. No. About you, about this, about coming back tomorrow or something like that. Okay.
No, I'm in. But the part that's gonna make you blush almost as much as I am right now is I'm sure maybe that you've been, because you're in a lot of the same lives that I'm in, and so you might have caught like the fancy mod announcements that I do on occasion. I have one for you.
I was hoping. Let's go.
So I didn't know if you want it tonight or if you want it tonight and tomorrow, and for it to be a surprise, but it's there.
Let's do it.
Alina says yes.
Yeah,
so
sure. Let's do it.
Okay. There's immediately a cat in my way. That's great. Whoop. All right, y'all. Welcome to the live where advocacy meets action, truth stands tall, and Santana leads the charge every night with heart, purpose, and unwavering dedication. This is the space where women's issues aren't just discussed, they're amplified. Santana isn't just raising awareness, he's passing the mic, ensuring the voices of women most affected are heard loud and clear. You've entered a live built on intersectionality, solidarity, empowerment, and hope for an equitable, if even bright, future. For a moment, let's celebrate Santana, using his platform to uplift, educate, and advocate. Whether he's breaking down complex issues or highlighting lived experiences, Santana speaks with authenticity and conviction. This isn't just a conversation, it's a movement. So here's how you can join and fight and support in this mission. Like the live. Tap that screen like you're casting a vote for change. Every tap keeps this message in the spotlight. Share the live. Don't let this moment stay here. Spread it far and wide because real change starts with awareness. Gift Santana and gift Alina. His tireless advocacy deserves roses and sparkles and all the appreciation we can give. And Alina is a woman on a mission and advocacy for both us and the small and the furry. Cash App the cause. Find the link in the bottom right-hand corner of Santana's screen. And Alina's is typically in the top left poll. Show your support. Movements need resources to thrive. Here's your friendly reminder of the community. Take a deep breath. Change is hard, but progress is unstoppable. Stay calm, stay focused. Drink your water. Advocacy is thirsty work. Hydrate now so you're ready to keep fighting the good fight. And now, let's lift each other up, tap those likes, share this live, and commit to the future we all deserve. Santana's here to shine a bright light, but together we're a force that can't be ignored.
Period.
Amazing.
W's in the chat for Parker's. That is so awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Holy smokes! And you just like
That's my announcement.
you just like wrote it on the fly.
Yeah, so I like to write for fun. I write novels for fun. I was an English teacher for 10 years. I do essays in my sleep for fun. So when I realized that this is a thing that I can do for my favorite host, especially once I'm going to provide for their space, then it's just what I do.
Oh, and I love how you said Santana speak.
You're so thoughtful.
Yep.
Every time I'm like,
Yeah, she does. It's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Parkers. It was genuinely a pleasure to have you up here and actually be able to interact with you this much. That means so much to me that you trusted this space to be able to give so much of yourself. So thank you for coming up. All right.
Thank you, Parkers.
Ty.
Hi.
I saw your message and as a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and say this real quick. I have other things that I'll read off, but I wanted to say W's in the chat for Ty. Ty sent a $5 donation to say, by the way, I got live access today. Hope to see you there. Hey, W's in the chat for Ty. Yeah, I saw you turn your camera on. That was the first time. I was like, okay, what's happening? So I'll be in your live.
Yeah, I got camera access today and I got live access. I don't know why. I didn't hit 1,000 followers, but I'm not complaining. Yeah, so I think that I'm going to take this moment to say that I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the panel with the women that I was on the panel with tonight. No Rads, Alina, I actually watch y'all's lives. I think that y'all are fantastic. I love watching you make men crash out. It's my favorite pastime, honestly.
It's so fun.
Don't bring that here anymore. I swear to God, that was the
All right,
weirdest thing ever. It was like,
I'll come on my backup.
I've seen Parker's
We'll see if it
around,
changes
but that Parker's and Kristen, was it? Instantaneous follows and Buzzy and yeah. So I'm gonna take this opportunity to lift up the women that are on the panel and say that the ones that I have watched have fantastic lives. So I recommend y'all follow No Rads and Alina. And two, I'm going to take a moment to actually lift myself up too, because you know what? Why not? I co-host frequently with Defense Strands here on TikTok. That is a space that I spend a lot of time in as an LGBTQ person. I intend on starting to go live more often to discuss these very same issues that I've been a part of with Santana the last couple weeks. I really appreciate you letting me come up as much as you have been, Santana, because I've been feeling like I needed to talk about these things. So you providing this space for us to come up and talk about LGBTQ and women, and I know in the future we plan on talking about disability and stuff like that, which is another community I'm a part of, that I just appreciate so much you using your space on this platform to lift up smaller voices in those communities.
Tell them what you're doing on January the 6th.
Okay. Yeah. So I have been trying to gain a following and a support because I'm actually the organizer of a protest in Texas on January 6th. I am a licensed officiant. And so on January 6th, I am meeting any couples that would like to meet at the Austin State Capitol on the lawn. And I'm going to marry as many couples as show up. And it doesn't matter what kind of couples, straight, queer, lavender couples, everybody is welcome. Anybody that shows up will get married. I'll stay until everyone is married.
You said Dallas?
In Austin.
Oh, Austin. I'm sorry. I'm very sleepy, and also I gardened. If I can make it out to Austin, I would love to help you with that because I am actually ordained and I can perform wedding ceremonies.
Oh my God. I would love your help.
Let me see if I can get out. That'd be fun. So Alita's looking at me like I'm crazy. My friend wanted to marry his boyfriend, and I was in the state that they live in, it's very hard for that to happen. I was like, I'll get ordained. Fuck it, I'll marry you. So I did.
I get an email every year that calls me the Reverend, and it is a never-ending source of humor and joy for me. But yes, I would love to have your help with that, No Rads. I'm looking for more officiants. I've been trying to build support, but I have a pretty small following. If you go to the link in my bio, I have a link to the protest Discord, and then I also have a link to the Facebook event. But most of my advocacy for it's here on TikTok. Anybody who is interested in supporting it, my latest video, if you share it, it has all the information for the protest and what exactly I'm trying to do. I am very aware that January 6th is a very interesting date to choose. That was purposeful, because I feel like our side can spread love instead of spreading hate and violence. And that's why I chose January 6th.
Also, it's reposted on my page as well if anybody needs to find the video, but it's there. And also,
I do have a fresh post, Santana. That
Okay,
first
send it
one
to
that I
me.
posted.
Send it to me.
Yeah, the first one that I posted, the music was too loud, so I had to redo it. But
Okay, got it.
I can't send you any more messages because we're not friends. You have to follow me back.
Called you out.
We're friends now. We're friends now. So there's that. Also, Ty taught me what lavender couples are. Like, I didn't know what that was. So
I would so
La-
take a lavender husband. For
Lavender
sure.
husbands are great. This has recently been a big topic of conversation in the community, especially we've been discussing about how even though you could choose to go into a lavender marriage and hide, that particularly YT people, hiding only makes our POC brothers and sisters stick out more, because they might be able to hide their queerness, but they can't hide the color of their skin. So even though I am welcoming lavender couples, I would recommend you marry who you love, not marry to hide. That's just my
Send me an
recommendation.
invite when you go live, and we'll talk about it some more this way, because I know Santana wants to go to bed. Management
Yeah,
is gonna,
for sure.
even though I'm management, fight you.
Swiper, no swiper.
I will throw all the shade at you for that. They're ready to go to bed. I know Alina's
Well, I
got
have some
kitties
thank
to
yous
take care
too
of.
that I want to do as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Before we
shut up
wrap
now.
Thank you, Ty. I was actually I was gonna say anything you want to say real quick.
OG management.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you, No Raz. Have a good night.
Bye, love you.
I love you.
Love you.
Alina?
Well, first I want to thank Elizabeth. Elizabeth sent a $3 donation for Love What You Do. Here's to the family and pets. Joe, he sent $10 for I just didn't want to drop. I didn't want to drop for clicking the link tree. Well, now he knows that he can do it. Lori sent $3 for I appreciate you. Thank you for standing up for us anytime. And Sherry sent $20 for the kitties. So thank you, spooky, scary Sherry. I love saying that. And as far as my last thoughts for today, I just want to thank you for hosting this space and inviting me on here. I know that I bring a lot of chaos with my menacing behavior, but I do think these conversations are important. And I do appreciate that you trust me to sit in this little coveted box here. And I look forward to doing it again tomorrow.
Yeah, no, listen, you know that how highly I think of you. And again, as soon as this topic came to my mind, you were the first person I thought of. And I don't know what I would have done if you would have said no. No, I appreciate the fact that you, and again, it was so weird. And if you, it's interesting to see you deal with it from a distance and then actually be in it, right? It's so weird. God, men are so weird. Oh, so anyway.
Yeah, I do appreciate that we've I think even though it's uncomfortable for the people that are used to late night with Santana to have these kind of outbursts, but it gives people that don't normally spend time in my space or in a woman's space what it is that we deal with. And I think it's important for people to see these crash outs, literally just saying the slightest thing will just set them off and be like, I bet you're single. It's crazy. So I appreciate you giving people the space to crash out if they need to, so that we can kind of highlight it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, we got to do a big shebang tomorrow. We got to go big. So tomorrow, guys, make sure you're back here tomorrow. We will be doing this again tomorrow. We will have another lovely evening. Just to read these off real quick, guys. W's in the chat for Celeste. Celeste in a $10 donation. Thank you for fighting the good fight. Thank you so much. W's in the chat for Sarah, who sent a $1 donation. Thank you for everything that you do. W's in the chat for Stephanie, who sent a $5 donation. And W's in the chat for Priscilla, who sent a $2 donation. Thank you for advocating for women. Listen, after the crash outs, tonight was super easy for me. I just sat back. I had my other half of my Philly cheesesteak. I watched the show. I didn't have to really do anything. Alina and the rest of the ladies on the panel completely took control of it. So it was fun for me. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for being here. Alina, thank you for another amazing night. We will do this again tomorrow.
Yes,
Chat,
we will.
I love you guys. Thank you for all the likes, the shares, the taps, the gifts, all the wonderful things. I love you all. And as always, Alina, do it with me. Peace.